Ladies and gentlemen, a pleasant good evening to everybody out there in YouTube land. Shout out to the LSM Mod Squad. Shout out to new subscribers. Guess who it is? It is your boy Lewis once again coming at you once again with another live stream with yet another video. So make sure as you guys come in, make sure to smash the like button, hit the subscribe button as you guys come in. Make sure your notifications are turned on. Once again, as always, make sure you guys are sharing this on your social media outlets, Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, Snapchat if you can. I truly appreciate that. So ladies and gentlemen, we are on a live stream, and this one is basically talking about Jeanie Buss and the racist letter she had received from a fan that she had received Monday. What's up, Jared Williams? Appreciate you coming through. Shout out to Ultimate Champion, the first one in here. Appreciate it. Chiefs fan says, "Congrats. I appreciate playing that game with you, Chiefs fan. That was really a competitive game. So we were going neck and neck. Um, Shout out to the Sports Expert 101. I was actually on his channel doing that game, and I enjoyed it. It was cool. It was a lot of fun. And if you guys haven't, man, make sure you guys go subscribe to his channel. The Sports Expert 101. He did a really nice sports trivia. It was a lot of fun. Uh, Shout out to Joel Hayward in the building. What's good, bro? Shout out to Ryan. What's up, man? What's going on? And shout out to Chiefs fan. Chiefs fan was answering some really good questions in there too. Um, Again, shout out to everybody that's here. I have a special guest. I'm supposed to have Anthony L come in, so when he can come in, he'll be here, and pretty much I'm gonna get his thoughts on this situation. Again, smash the like button, hit that subscribe button, make sure those notifications are turned on. Shout out to Daniel Berry in the building. He says, "What's up, Lewis the Goat? What is up, Daniel? Appreciate you coming through as always, man. Appreciate it." Hopefully we could get more people, get a bigger crowd, because this is a very controversial topic that we're talking about, and it's basically presenting about what's going on in society currently, and it's crazy how it involves basketball, but it does. It involves with the current owner of the Los Angeles Lakers, Jeanie Buss. It does involve LeBron James because of his response to the tweet. Shout out to Anthony L. I'm just waiting for you, bro. I already sent you the link. I'm doing great, Daniel. Hope everything is good with you, bro. Shout out to Ron in the building, man. What is up, Ron? Appreciate it, man. What is going on, guys? And then it involves with Kobe too because he's in this. So yeah, just so Anthony, I sent you the link already, bro. Whenever you get the chance, you could just come on in. And if you didn't, I'll send it to you again. If it doesn't work, just let me know. But definitely will do that. Anthony L says that he was on He Knows His Sports channel, and he says it was a good conversation over there too. All right, bet, man. That's what's up. Shout out to He Knows His Sport. I was on there a little bit earlier. Yeah. What's good, guys? What is good? Ryan says check out in the lab channel. This guy is the hoopist in true form. Discussing man in a good way. What's the name of it? This is a YouTube channel. Again, shout out to Ultimate Champ Chiefs fan. Oh, I missed 6 Foot 200's comment. Shout out to Jared as well. Um, he said his stomach hurts. Well, I hope your stomach gets better. 6 foot. Send it again. I got you, man. Let me just send the invite. Let's copy. Let's go to that Gmail. Just gonna wait for this to pull up. Okay, Anthony L. I sent it again. So hopefully you receive it this time. And just gonna wait for Anthony L to come on as a guest. Again, guys, smash the like, hit that subscribe, share on your social media. I think we got plenty to talk about this situation. The situation is pretty crazy. The name of the channel is called In the Lab, huh? Definitely check that guy out. Definitely do that. Let me see. You said it was In the Lab is the name, right? Give me 1 second, Anthony. I got you, and I'm about to put you up for a second. Uh, You guys in the chat, y'all need to check out also. Oh, appreciate it, Daniel. Appreciate that, man. Um, Ryan, so does he have like nearly 500 subscribers, 500,000 subscribers? Just let me know in the chat, and then I'll make sure to check him out. But anyway, without further ado, excuse me, I want to introduce you to my special guest for this live stream. Shout out to the man, shout out to the brother, really articulate, and make sure you guys go check out his podcast as well. I don't remember the name, but we'll get back to it. Anthony L is in the building. Anthony, how are you, sir? How is your day going, man? And welcome to the
Us-
live stream.
I appreciate you having me. Everything's going well. What's up, everybody in the chat? How y'all doing?
All right, man. So, well, shout out to Anthony L for being here, and appreciate the chat coming through. So let's cut down to the chase. Let's cut down right to the chase, ladies and gentlemen. So, Jeanie Buss decided to post a letter that she received on Instagram about a racist fan who made some really crazy comments, derogatory comments towards her and towards Kobe. Um, so I'm going to read the letter really quick, and then I'm going to get Anthony's thoughts on just the letter in general, and what's going on as it connects to both her, LeBron, and Kobe. So it says, and I hate to say it this way, but here we go. It says, "Dear whore, after 60 years as a huge Lakers fan, 60 years." So according to this is an elderly Lakers fan, female or male, whoever it may be. I now say to hell with the overpaid N, which is everybody knows what that is, and whoever starts with an N, because we already know that basketball is mostly made of African American players, traders, and the NBA. Go to hell and join blank. It was crossed out, so it was redacted, and then it says Kobe Bryant at the end. And then it shows Joe, and then once again, it says that Jeanie Buss had redacted the letter. So she had erased the things that pretty much is said in those three words. So Anthony L, after hearing about this letter, what is your reaction to the letter that was being sent to the letter being sent to Jeanie Buss on this racist matter?
Okay, so yeah, when I seen that letter, um, it was kind of weird, it was almost, I don't know, it almost seems like okay, is this person for real? Because I look at it like this. Okay, you say the fan said he was a fan of the Lakers for 60 years. It really doesn't sound like it, because if that's how you genuinely feel in your heart about what these players, how you feel about these players, and you're calling them the N word, then you was never a fan to begin with. You can never say that you was a fan for 60 years if you refer to the Lakers as a bunch of N words. You understand what I'm saying? So that really
Hmm.
doesn't make sense to me, because if that's how you felt, then that means you must have felt the same way about Wilt Chamberlain. You must have felt the same way about Magic Johnson. You must have felt the same way about Kareem. You must have felt the same way about James Worthy. You must have
Hmm.
felt the same way about all of the other Laker greats that came before, past, present, past and present. You understand what I'm saying? So if this
Hmm.
is because you already know how the saying goes in the scripture, where it says, out of the abundance of the heart, the mouth speaks. So
Hmm.
if you really feel like these players are a bunch of overpaid N words, right? And, these NBA players, especially with the way the salary cap has gone between then and now, but even then, during that time, for what they was making at that particular time, they was making pretty good money and living pretty good lives. So for him to have that type of mentality, about what he feels black people should deserve in terms of how much money they should be paid and how much they should be earning, and what their value is. If this is how you felt about these players, to me, that lets me know that you was never a fan to begin with. So if this letter was truly written by a racist fan, and if those are his sentiments, then to me, you was never a fan to begin with. Honestly.
Yeah, just by the sound of it, it's just very weird because for you to say that, that you're a Lakers fan for 60 years, somebody who is a fan for the Lakers for 60 years means that you've been there from the very beginning, most likely from at the time that the Lakers moved, pretty much moved to California, from their original spot in Minneapolis, which probably also tells me that you have probably seen, the likes of George Mike, excuse me, and Slater Martin, going down to Elgin Baylor and Jerry West, and going to Gail Goodrich, and obviously Will Chamberlain, going to Magic and Kareem, and Cooper, Worthy, and then going down to obviously with Magic and stuff, and then you go to Shaq and Kobe, in the 2000s era. So what's very strange for me is I don't understand how you can claim yourself to be a fan, of the Lakers for that long, but you're calling everybody a bunch of ends. And what, like you were saying, like if you're gonna say that about one player, then basically you would have to say that about everybody else. But notice that they only mentioned Kobe, so that's the really strange thing because if you're a fan for the Lakers of 60 years, but you're attacking Kobe Bryant, that to me sounds like you're not a fan of that person. There must be about something about him that you did not like, or it makes it seem like if this could be honestly somebody else claiming to be a Lakers fan who probably did not ever like Kobe at all from the time he played. And I mean, this is a player who helped you win 5 championships for a Laker franchise. This is a player who gave over half of his life to an organization, so he was there for 20 seasons. So for him to sacrifice his life, where he could be chilling with his 4 daughters and his wife, who he really doesn't see enough during the time when he's playing in the season, for you to say something like that. And here's another thing that just really I find very strange. She received this mail or this letter on Monday. Why did she wait to post it on social media on Friday, especially knowing what Friday was? Wanted to get your thoughts on that.
Yeah, I thought it was a little. I thought the timing of that was a little strange, being the fact that Friday was Juneteenth. So I'm not sure who uh um was in her ear or who suggested that she wait until that particular day to post that because for me, if anybody else being in that position, I don't know if that's something you would want to just turn into the authorities and then, or if you wanted to make it public right away, or I mean, I don't understand what the motive is for keeping it hidden for 5 days and then all of a sudden now you want to bring it out to the surface and say, hey, you know, this is what a racist fan sent to me. I want everybody to know. I mean, it's kind of weird. You kind of want to know what the significance is behind um, choosing that particular day to want to post uh, that particular letter for the
Hmm.
public. But it's weird. It's weird because now it's like it's putting the owners in a position to where they're going to have to address racism, and they're going to have to address racism from even their own fans. I mean, look at what's been happening lately with the way these fans have been attacking Westbrook, and his family. I mean, he's going to multiple arenas, and Utah being one of the worst, and he's had to deal with people hurling racial epithets towards him and saying mean and nasty things about him and his family. And I don't know how these players, could be able to exercise that type of restraint, when they're that close to these fans and they're hurling the N word and all these other racial epithets towards them because not a lot of people be able to take that lightly, especially back in the days because you already saw what happened with Ron Artest and Steven Jackson and them boys didn't play, you know.
Hmm.
So it's like, these owners is not just in terms of that letter, these owners is really gonna have to address the racism that goes on in sports. I mean, look at what happened with DeMarcus Cousins in Boston. You
Hmm.
know, now with that whole Boston organization, I think they suspended that fan for what, a year or 2 years or something like that for
Yeah.
calling the N word. But he should be banned for longer than that, if not for life, because you don't though that's unacceptable behavior. And we already know about the history of Boston fans and how they
Hmm.
treated Russell, when he was coming up. So it's like, to have that type of disrespect come from the fans to these players, especially in this era that we're in right now. It shouldn't be tolerated. It should be immediately condemned, and those type of actions shouldn't be tolerated in these arenas. I mean, we already dealt with the Donald Sterling situation when he got exposed
Hmm.
for what he said about his players, talking about the whole plantation things, where he made a reference towards the players and being being on a plantation or whatnot. I'm paraphrasing. I don't remember exactly what he said, but nonetheless, it was a racist comment, and he had to be forced to sell his team for it. But you can
Yeah.
only imagine how many other owners may have felt the same way, but just didn't get exposed. I mean, look at the whole situation with James Dolan and how he's treated his fans, how he's
Mm.
treated Charles Oakley, and how he's treated Spike Lee. So
Hmm.
there's a lot of different racial elements behind the way these athletes are being treated. And you got to understand, like, the NBA is made up of 90% of black athletes, right? So
Right.
we're the ones that's bringing in, and when I say we're, I'm talking about is just far as black people in general. You know what I mean? Because a
Yeah.
lot of the talent that they're bringing in, come from humble beginnings. They come. Not all of them came. Not all of them were privileged. I just got through marching with Russell Westbrook and DeMar DeRozan. In Compton, they came to Compton. I'm from
Hmm.
Compton. I went to
Right.
school in Compton, so I was right there, right next to Russell Westbrook, and right there next to DeMar DeRozan, marching for justice on behalf of George Floyd. You understand what I'm saying? So we want to
Yeah.
know that, not just in terms of just Jeanie Buss, but just the whole NBA as a whole, as a brand, between all of the owners, all of the 30 owners, and just the whole entire league as a whole. We want to know that they stand behind us and that they stand with us, because it's the black athletes that are generating a lot of the money for them, and a lot of these players really aren't getting paid what they deserve to be paid. I mean, they're the ones putting their blood, sweat, and tears on the line,
Hmm.
for 82 games out of the year every season, and we deserve to have their support in return when something like social issues become a focus in our communities. We want to know that they have our backs, because at the end of the day, these are the areas and these are the communities where they originated from. You understand what I'm
Hmm.
saying? They didn't always have money. They weren't always blessed to be able to, you know, earn and make the kind of money that they're making right now. It's a blessing, but it's a blessing that stems from the talents, their God given talents, and their hard work and sacrifice that they put in to make the NBA, popular, not just in the United States, but globally. You understand what I'm saying? So I feel like,
Hmm.
the sports world in general, they owe it to us. Even with the NFL, the NFL is made up of 70% black athletes, and you look at how they treated them. You look at how they treated Colin Kaepernick. Do you
Oh
understand what
yeah.
I'm saying? So it's everything that's going on right now, the entire sports world. And getting back to the whole situation with Jeanie Buss, we're going to have to. I know it's an uncomfortable subject. I know a lot of times with these owners and with a lot of white people, it can be uncomfortable talking about issues of race. But when you see that your players is being affected by it, this is something that you're going to have to address, whether you want to or not, and whether you feel comfortable addressing it or not. This is a discussion that needs to be talked about, because this is what's happening right now. Even when it comes to Dwight Howard, if you look at that situation that happened in Atlanta, with the whole Rashard Brooks situation.
Brooks. Hmm.
Yeah, the DA, which is the prosecuting attorney in that case, who is black, he is a relative of Dwight Howard. I believe he's Dwight Howard's cousin. So you got to understand. And right now, he's receiving death threats just for bringing charges to that cop who shot Rashard Brooks. So now his life is in danger because he chose to do the right thing that he felt
Hmm.
he needed to do. And that's a relative of Dwight Howard. So you got to understand all of these issues that's going on is hitting close to home, and that's why I'm saying, like, we worried about basketball, we worried about bringing the NBA season back. Man, that's a lot going on right now. We're already dealing with this pandemic, and then now we're dealing with social injustice. Is basketball really that important that we have to put it to the forefront right now? There's bigger issues that we need to deal with. And I'm gonna get on LeBron too, because I know you kind of want to tie in, um, LeBron's response
Yeah.
to that whole letter. But I just wanted to get that out there. The whole entire sports world is going to have to face racism and look themselves in the mirror and say, hey, uh, uh, it's time for you to get out your comfortability and really speak out. Even if it means you being ostracized to some extent. You're going to have to speak out and address what's going on, because these players need to know that you have their backs, because at some point in time this stuff is going to have to stop. you know and if it takes more players standing up, if it takes more people speaking out and actually getting on the ground and doing more in their community, then that's what's going to happen. But these owners are billionaires, they're multi-billionaires, so they can do even more than what the players is doing. They have the power to influence change, not just in sports but in politics as well. A lot of these owners are friends with a lot of these mayors and governors and even these presidents, that we have. So it's like they have the power to do more and influence change within our communities. But it gets to a point where silence becomes, com- complicity, and we can't have that at a time right now. But I'll go ahead and turn it back over to you.
All right, man. But Anthony L, man, spoken like a guy who truly has a podcast, man. Just spitting a lot of great points. Let me just get into the chat before I continue. Shout out to Karam. He says, "Yo," he said, "Boogie Cousins wasn't in Boston." I think he was talking about the situation that happened with that Boston fan. I'm actually going to touch a little bit on what Anthony was saying when it comes to the NBA, and the fans. He also says the Celtic fan throwing something at the Celtics bench was unacceptable. I do remember that incident too. Click to see if this works. Here we go. Ron says, given the content of this supposed letter and the timing of it being released, sounds like a low-level psyop to try to keep the fire burning, just in my opinion. I mean, it's very possible, which is what's got me thinking. Shout out to Tomoko, 12th like. Disciple Judas, Scaria, 12 like. I appreciate you. Ryan says Boston fans didn't back up IT for his sister's passing during the playoffs. That was really sad. I don't even know how IT even got through that game. And he was also injured, which people don't talk about neither. So not only was he dealing with his sister's passing, but he was also injured during that time. Shout out to Doing in the building. What up? Shout out to Sports Expert. Appreciate you coming through. Make sure you guys go to Sports Expert's channel and subscribe to him. Uh, he had a sports trivia today, and I was a part of it, and it was actually a lot of fun. He did all sports, so it was pretty cool. So if you guys could, please make sure to go subscribe to Sports Expert 101. I truly appreciate that, man, and thank you for coming. Appreciate that. Um, Winetta says that the DA is his uncle. Yeah, I did hear. Shout out to Jay Jefferson in the building. Appreciate you coming through, man. And Raduni says LeBron only speaks what Nike allows him to do, which is, kind of the thing that we kind of get into. But want to continue about the fans, with this, situation as it pertains to, and you kind of touched upon it, Anthony O. And Russell Westbrook has definitely been like a huge victim of that when it comes to people either using finger gestures or I've heard, I still remember that situation in Utah where both, it was a white couple who were just they were kind of yelling at Russ and they were just saying some really, really, really nasty things to him while he was icing his knee on the bench. And, Russ, it's crazy how he kept his restraint that time in Philly when that fan, I think he got an and one. And I know him and Embiid, they kind of have a little beef history. And I know it's all a competition, but he flipped the middle finger and all Russ could do was point. I do agree with you. It's crazy how players show that restraint, but we also have to remember that they have to kind of portray an image a little bit because it's like if they decide to go after a fan, the NBA is gonna have their, it's gonna be a bad look for the NBA, and we already know how media likes to portray players. If you're somebody that the media feels like they can look up to, or somebody that they feel like is somebody who's very relatable to them, that they can get easy access to, the media will find a way to protect you. I'm not saying everybody, but it'll be most media members. If it's somebody who doesn't really give a crap, who rather not talk to you, they don't really want to answer questions with you, then the media is going to pretty much turn if you're not somebody who really talks. Which is why I say that with Russell, it stinks that he has to deal with things like that, and I just don't like the fact that NBA owners, they don't. I just don't like the fact that they're not affirmative in their actions, and I just feel like the penalties are just like they're too. It's a slap in the wrist. It's almost like receiving a speeding ticket for God's sakes. Like when a fan gets banned for like a year, no, it's like you need to send a message to these fans that despite the fact that they pay their money to go to an NBA game, they cannot just say and do whatever they want to an NBA player because the NBA players are there to entertain you. And just like NBA fans, NBA players have families too. They're humans. It's just the fans at times look at them as beyond human. They're they look at them as beyond basketball players. They look at people who you can draw inspiration. Sometimes even to the point where you worship these celebrities, and it's like that's something that we should not be looking to. And depends on how your upbringing is. If you're somebody who looks at a player as a role model, then fine. If you drew inspiration from that. But the thing is, what you always should try to take from an athlete is you should take, you should not be trying to worship an athlete to the point that you're looking at them as a demigod. Like that's not the point of an athlete. It's basically take what they're doing and find a way to apply it to your own life. And in any ways, try to see if you could be better from that. Like try to see what you can learn from the athlete in terms of like how they're living. And it's like, is that somebody that I want to, use that as an example of how I want to live my life? Or it's like, no, I want to live my life differently because I don't want to see myself being that kind of person. So that's how we should kind of take that. And going back to what you were saying about, the owners in the league, this is a problem when you hear a letter like this that Jeanie Buss is reading on social media because now they have to take more of an onus to try to address racism, in the NBA from the players to its fans. And if the owners really care about these players that make them the money, as you were saying, Anthony, which is a great point because the NBA players are there for the entertainment of the fans. The fans pay the money to the owners because it's a combination of the fans paying the pockets up to the players and the players entertaining those same fans to be able to put them in seats. So I feel like both of them really benefit the owner. And it's like if you take one of those things away, you're either going to have a lower attendance, which means lower value for your franchise. So that to me is very important. And this is why that the NBA to me, when you look at the players, I really wish that the stars of the league could look at this to say how they can really start to make a change because I just feel like there's still a competition between the stars and the smaller players who don't really have a voice like the star players do, especially when they make many more millions than they do, than the kind of like if you want to call them the average Joe, even though they're in the NBA in terms of salaries. But that, and this is why I'm going to continue to talk a little bit more, but I wanted to get and I'm glad you touched this up on Anthony. and I will get to the chat in a second. Um, Tomoko says racism can be solved when people acknowledge that we're all born from nature and nobody's perfect. Yo, this is the way that we should be looking at it, reading that first line. But apparently, with the way that society thinks, with the way that society continues to educate the next generation, we don't think like that. Naturally, life would seek form various races and same species in the world's different parts. Uh, and Sports says, thanks for the shout out. Appreciate it, man. No question. I mean, you deserve it. It was wonderful. Race does not exist on a genetic level, meaning DNA does not recognize race. Exactly. Exactly. Good point. Really, really good point. Let me just continue before I wanted to get. Huh, man. Oh yeah. Boston, Philly, and Utah fans are the worst. You're arguably the three most racist fan bases in the NBA. I'm saying that right now. Arguably the three most racist fan bases in the NBA. I mean, and just towns in general. It's terrible. If players make one mistake, man, it magnifies the issue. Oh, absolutely. Oh yeah. You know what's crazy? People have been comparing him to him. When you really think of character. Um, yeah, we are family, and that's what I always try to do. That man. I remember was yeah. You know what's so crazy? And I'm gonna bring this up now. It's true. Yeah. This is a very interesting comment. I wanted to get your thought on this one, Anthony L. So, Raduni says, I never see Boston Celtic fans defend IT because of what Danny Ainge did to IT, but they are mad because of Kyrie didn't give a damn about that franchise. What are your thoughts on that statement? That's an interesting one.
Well, I believe, if I'm not mistaken, Isaiah Thomas wanted to stay. You know,
Hmm.
so they pretty much gave up on a guy who actually wanted to stay. You know, for a guy that had problems almost right out the gate. With that team. Now we know with when it comes to Kyrie, I mean, he's just naturally gifted. Talented,
Hmm.
but
Hmm.
at the same time, that talent has to mesh with the rest of the group. It has to mesh with the rest of the teammates. And
Right.
so if that talent doesn't mesh and you don't have the type of chemistry in terms of achieving a team goal, then that individual talent it's not gonna matter, you know. So what Isaiah Thomas was doing, and I thought that was wrong, the way they went about it. But at the same time, I do understand it's also a business. So
Hmm.
teams are going to make business moves, you know, even if you feel like the timing of it may have been off or may not have been right. At the same time, these GMs is put in difficult situations to where, and I'm just playing devil's advocate. I'm not really trying to,
Hmm.
say one side or the other is right or wrong. Because
Right.
I understand Danny Ainge's side of it, because at the same time, he has to do his job as an executive. You understand
That's
what I'm saying?
correct.
And
Hmm.
he has to make the best moves moving forward for his organization. So I'm not going to uh, uh, attack his character and his intentions, for doing what he felt was best for the future of the organization at the time. It just turned out to be a dud. That's the way I look at it. It turned out to be a dud. The problem that I have is when it comes to the media, is that um, it's not what Kyrie says. It's the fact that Kyrie is not giving the media the responses that they're looking for. So Kyrie uh can be speaking the 100% truth in how he feels, and he can be very transparent and blunt and honest about his feelings, and the media is not going to respect that because he's not. First of all, he doesn't kiss booty. That's one
Hmm.
thing that the media doesn't like about Kyrie Irving, is that he don't kiss booty. And then number
Right.
two, when it comes to Kyrie Irving, he's a pretty straightforward guy. He almost kind of reminds you of Kobe in a sense, because
Hmm.
Kobe kind of took Kyrie under his ring.
Hmm.
So you can kind of see in terms of Kyrie's interaction with the media that it kind of reminds you of how Kobe was with the media. especially, when he was in his prime stages throughout his career. So maybe it's something about Kyrie that reminds the media about Kobe and why they hated him. And I guess he gets that same type of hatred because Kyrie is, if you're gonna come at Kyrie, he's looking at it like, okay, you need to come with all your ducks lined up in a row, or else you're gonna get it. You know what I mean? Or the interview, or this press conference, or whatever it is that you're doing, is gonna be cut short. And that's what they
Hmm.
don't like about Kyrie. But I just don't like the whole and this sort of kind of segue into the whole discussion about LeBron's role into it, because
Yeah.
when it's just kind of weird, because LeBron, he gets to speak up and say how he feels, and the media adores that, because LeBron is like this angelic teddy bear when it comes to the media, which is why a lot of these media members worship him the way that he does. But when you get a guy like Kyrie or Durant or Kobe, people like that who's feisty when it comes to the media, even when they're right most of the times, they get brushed aside. They get cast aside because you know they not they don't allow themselves to be manipulated and controlled by whatever narrative the media is trying to throw out there about them. So when it comes to Isaiah Thomas, you know, um, he, it just didn't. It just is. I don't think it worked out either way with Isaiah Thomas or Kyrie Irving, because even if Isaiah Thomas would have stayed, I mean, do you really think that you could trust him moving forward to lead that franchise to a championship or even outside of the Eastern Conference? You know what I
Yeah.
mean? So
Hmm.
that's probably what Danny Ainge was thinking. Like, dang, like, I like Isaiah Thomas, but I have an opportunity to get a champion in the Kyrie Irving, somebody who has a little bit more experience and has won in on the biggest stage and in the biggest moments. So I can understand where Danny Ainge is coming from too. But the way I look at it, it was just a dud on both ends. It was a dud when it came to Isaiah Thomas, because looking at it from the future, I don't think anybody, even a Boston Celtics fan, would have trusted his ability to get them over the hump like that, even though he was beloved in that city and he gave a lot to that city. I mean, you got to respect the guy who's willing to play, the day after his sister passes away, God rest her soul. So, you got to respect his loyalty for that. But at the same time, you got to understand it's a business as well. And Danny Ainge probably looked at it as like, okay, I have an opportunity to get Kyrie, so this is the situation. We're gonna give a tribute to Isaiah Thomas, and we're gonna respect the time that he gave us, and we're gonna respect all the things that he's done for us while he was here. But we're still gonna move forward as an organization. So I don't think anybody was right or wrong in this situation per se. I just look at it. It was like it was just a dud. It was a dud. It didn't work out, but the way the media attacks Kyrie Irving and they attack his character like that, I don't appreciate that. And I've seen some of the hit pieces that Jackie McMullen has put out on Kyrie. I didn't appreciate that. It's just, it's just disrespectful. You know what I mean? And it's like, when LeBron, he becomes a free agent, everybody want to say, oh, he's a free agent, he can do whatever he want to do, he can go wherever he want to go. But when it comes to Kyrie, when it comes to Kevin Durant, when it comes to Kyrie Irving, when it comes to any other superstar talent, it's a problem. And that's what I have an issue with, is the hypocrisy, you know, that comes from the fans and the media. I don't know if that answers your question.
No, I think that was the perfect balanced way to answer the question, and I honestly thought that you was able to break it down with a lot of great detail and very descriptive, and what you were talking about. So I think that answered it, pretty well. So let me just go back into the chat before I get on to what LeBron and not just with the letter, but then in his latest situation with the whole Bubba Wallace thing. So let me just go there. Um, Ryan says that he remembers that LBJ's house was berated with the racist messages. And what's so crazy about that, once again, is that that happened over 3 years ago, and we still haven't figured out who was the person that sprayed in the N word in his house in Brentwood. We still don't know, especially with how the evidence was just washed away. And notice the media has never gone after that ever since that happened. Never, no investigation, nothing. It just got wiped right under the rug. Um, Raduni says, I never see. Oh, okay, I read that one already. Okay, so Karam says Kyrie went there and he ruined the chemistry. Well, I can't say that because the chemistry was actually working pretty well in the beginning. Everything changed when Kyrie came back for the second season. So they were actually winning when Kyrie was there the first year. They were actually playing pretty well. It was when the young guys started to be successful without him, and when he came back, that was when the chemistry pretty much got ruined between Kyrie and the franchise. But then it goes kind of back to what Anthony L was basically saying. It's Kyrie kind of had to play the image of that he wanted to be there when originally Boston was not one of his destinations. He made that very clear. It's just the Cavaliers decided to trade him over there. So they weren't going to let Kyrie dictate where he wanted to go because Kyrie was still under contract. So because of that, that's why Boston said we're going to trade it to the best possible scenario where they felt that they were going to get something back. They're not going to let a player in their organization who they pay dictate where he wants to go, especially if he's under contract. So you're kind of like stuck in a slave. That's why people have to understand why do you think that LeBron James, when he signed his contracts ever since he left Miami, with Cleveland, he was doing the one and ones because he wasn't going to constrict himself. And then when he goes to the Lakers, he signs a 4 year contract. You see, so you see how that works. That's how LeBron is doing it. LeBron tries to put himself in a position where he has leverage, whereas Kyrie didn't have that. He's a locker room problem. He definitely became that, in his second stint with Boston. Some even say, even while he was in Cleveland, when LeBron was there, the Celtics, they have a historic franchise. We don't even have to say great. It's historic. Brad is a good coach, and Danny Ainge has the talent with young players. But I'm going to say this right now. Danny Ainge can low key be a snake at times, too, when it comes to his deals, especially when he knows when something doesn't work out. And I understand what Anthony Ellis is saying. At the end of the day, it's a business. He's got to do what he's got to do. But he knows how to try to nix a deal when he feels like something can't work out, especially when he knows, especially when you look at Gordon Hayward. He says, "What's up?" Exactly. LeBron is jealous of Kyrie, Kobe, and MJ for their alpha mentalities. Players like Kyrie, it's hard to put him in others like him on a certain team, right? Alpha mentality depends. Brandon Rogers, shout out to Brandon Rogers. He says that LeBron needs his fourth. Oh, he desperately needs his fourth. It's not even just needs; he desperately needs it. It's desperation. Ron says, that's what I said about Kyrie. The media doesn't like him because he refuses to play their game. That's what it is. When you know what the media is all about, the media won't respect you because the media loves you when you tell them what they want to hear, not what they need to hear. Media don't like people like that because then they can't control them, or they feel like they won't be able to just say and get away with whatever they want, or try to con you into saying something, and then the media will either back you up or they'll try to ridicule you because that's how they work. That's why the media hates KD, Westbrook, and Kawhi also because they don't give a crap about the media. No, if you look at the way, and at times Russell's he's still even treated like a darling anyway. I mean, he does get criticized a lot, but at times he kind of does just for the fact that even if he doesn't give a crap, the bottom line is this all comes down to threat. It all comes down to threat, and it's the threat to the cash cow, and that being in LeBron James. Yeah, Anthony, I understand the Boston Celtics GM, but also Kyrie did what was best for him. But I don't talk about Danny Ainge's decision, but the fans should have the same mentality. Unfortunately, that's not the case. MJ and Kobe was known for shutting out the media, so that's why they tried when they tried to, but LeBron is over there. Yeah, we know that already. These fans want to see the NBA come back so bad, then why don't they just go outside and play themselves? See, they're not going to do that because they want to be entertained. They can't entertain themselves. So as much as they should, they're not gonna happen. That is a good one. Ron says the thing about IT, even though he balled out because of lack of size, they try to hide him on defense when basketball is played 5 against 5. So in the end, it was hard for that to work out, which is true. Which is why Danny Ainge, and Anthony was making the point. Like I'm sure he likes IT, But if you look at the disadvantages that IT kind of brings on the basketball team, like he's a great scorer, he plays with a lot of heart, he can hit big shots for you. Isaiah plays with a lot of heart, and I like guys like that. And he has that underdog mentality because of his size. But what comes with that is he's not a really good defender. Um, because he doesn't have the size, you could put big guys on him to post up. So he brings a little bit of liability as well, which is why it was understandable why they had to, in a way, had to get rid of him too. You know, even though you could say as messed up as it was, because at the end of the day, it is a business. Danny Ainge is very overrated. Sorry, 20 years and one title. Actually, Danny Ainge, I don't know how long he's been. I don't know he. I don't know how long he's been president of basketball operations. I know it has been a while. I know he was there before when Doc Rivers was coach, when he first was there. So it's probably almost 20 years. 20 years, and they only have one NBA championship, which is true. So now we're gonna get to LeBron in this situation. So going into this article, and then again, Anthony, gonna get your thoughts on this one a little bit. We kind of touched upon a little bit, but okay. So it says that to continue the letter, it says so to Joe. So this is Jeanie Buss responding to Joe in the letter. She says on Instagram. For fun, notice I mentioned that on Instagram. Did sending this letter make you feel better? Buzz said in her post, really, all you did was waste your time and energy and your postage stamp. But thank you for including your return home address. Why don't you look in the mirror and see your ugliness because I refuse to? Buzz continued to explain that she has received similar letters over the years, but she refuses to ignore them any longer. But again, even if she says something like that, it's just very strange that even though they told her to ignore it, she posts that on Juneteenth. Once again, on Juneteenth. Going back to Ron Cowan said, on what is the real motive for this? On this day, Juneteenth, I asked my white friends to join together, acknowledge the racism that exists in our country and around the world, and we pledge to stop ignoring it. We all must do better. Almost as if she was kind of saying all lives matter when I kind of hear something like that. So then here we go. NBA star LeBron James didn't hesitate to show his support for Bust, sharing her post to his Instagram story with the message, Love Eugene. So now before I continue, um, and getting Anthony L's thoughts on this one. So there was a NASCAR driver. I don't watch NASCAR. I'm not a huge NASCAR person, but again, shout out to the NASCAR fans who watch NASCAR. So there's a NASCAR driver by the name of Bubba Wallace, and a very few hours ago, there was reports that there was a noose found in his garage stall, and NASCAR had already released a letter saying how that this was unacceptable. They don't tolerate this kind of action that happens in the sport. The funny thing about that is, once I heard about the news, it said LeBron James quickly responded and said that I'm right there with you. This is his quote. He says he's right there with him, and that he says, you know, tweet his support, tweet his support. That is right there with you. Now, Anthony, I gotta ask you this, man. Do you think that it's just so ironic that when Jeanie Buss sends something, and obviously because LeBron is playing for the Lakers, she's the owner, how it's really weird that Kobe Bryant is getting disrespected and he's no longer on this earth where he could honestly really defend himself on something like this, because that probably he would be asked about this if he was alive. But whoever this anonymous racist fan is decided to include Kobe in there because he's this overpaid, what. Then LeBron responds and supports Jeanie Buss, and then the minute that something happens in NASCAR, not even really LeBron's sport for that or what he follows, because it's a black NASCAR driver who has to deal with this noose that is in his garage stall, LeBron James quickly tweets, I'm right there with you. Now, do you think that this can be used just in case if the NBA season were to come back, as if he was dealing with so much in case if he doesn't win an NBA championship? And also, do you think will he put his money where his mouth is when it comes to these social issues and be on the front lines? Because I know what the LeBron fans are going to say. They're going to say that he doesn't really have to be in the front lines and really has to really do anything. As long as he's just spreading awareness, he's the most woke athlete that there is, in society, in today's society.
Well, real quick before I get to LeBron, I need to get on Jeannie Buss real quick because
Sure.
here's my issue with Jeannie Buss.
Hmm.
I don't know if you remember Lewis. Right after Kobe Bryant passed away on I believe it was MSNBC or Fox News, one of those networks. There was
Hmm.
a white lady who referred to the Los Angeles Lakers as the Los Angeles N words. Do you remember that?
Yes.
You remember that, right?
Yeah.
I forgot her name, but a lot of people was calling for her to be removed because not only did she disrespect Kobe, she had disrespected the entire Lakers team. And so my question is, where was Jeannie Buss at then?
Hmm.
Where was
Hmm.
Jeannie Buss at then? She should have been the first person to come out and defend her team. You know what I'm saying? This is
Mm.
what another white woman said about her players. She should have checked her. And she should have made calls. This goes back to what I was telling you about how billionaires have influence. She could
Yeah.
have called on all of the fans who love Kobe, not only just love Kobe, but love the Lakers in general as an organization and even the team that we have now, including LeBron. She could have called on all of the fans, or not just the fans, but anybody who has decency as a human being and as a person to put pressure on MSNBC to have that anchor removed. Now, I believe she's still working for them. I don't think that they have removed her yet. I think she still works for them. But see, this is what I was confused about because it's like now you're coming out with a letter saying, all of my white friends need to stand with me and calling out racism. You already had an opportunity to do that after Kobe Bryant passed when that white anchor referred to the Lakers as the Los Angeles N-words. You was nowhere to
That's.
be found then. You was silent. So I'm not
Mm.
understanding that. And then I'm not understanding the fact that you was the same one who took out a business loan during the when the whole virus thing first broke out, that you had no business taking. Remember that?
That's
So
right.
she's been doing a lot of shrewd things low key behind the scenes. And I don't know what that whole situation was between Magic stepping down and Rob Pelinka taking over the front office, but I found something kind of fishy with that too, you
Yeah.
know. So it's been a lot of little um of sneaky things that are being done behind the scenes that got Jeannie Buss's fingerprints on it. Now she may act like she's not involved in it and she's just taking over the business side and she doesn't have anything to do with it, but she's the owner. You understand what I'm saying? Right
Yep.
now, since her dad passed away and since she's taken over and removed her brothers from their executive positions, she has been the head honcho in charge. But it's been a lot of different things that is going on behind the scenes that has her fingerprints on it that I'm not liking. Would you agree to that?
This is why I continue to
Because I'm
say
gonna
that
get to LeBron. I'm gonna get to LeBron in a second, but we we,
yeah,
we
yeah,
we need to get on Jeannie Buss right now
yeah,
because
and
she's
like
not totally innocent in all of this.
no, and this is why I'm saying that for me, and this has nothing to do with Jeannie as a woman. This has everything to do with Jeannie as the owner of the Los Angeles Lakers. When she took over her brother, when he was previously the owner of the team, and she handled the business operations with LA. My issue with Jeannie Buss is this: you say that you love Kobe like a brother so much, and you say what he's meant to your franchise. I want to bring up another situation that really has been wiped away in terms of the media. There was a white man who went on Instagram a couple of weeks after Kobe had passed away. And in that video, he said the greatest thing I think it was the greatest thing that's ever happened pretty much like in life, or I believe it was like yeah, it was like the greatest thing just happened like in history. I don't know if it was Laker history or something, but he was referring to Kobe passing away. And I asked myself, where was Jeannie Buss when this fan came out and said said something like that? Because if you love Kobe so much, even if you may not know that person personally, you would have addressed media saying that the way that Kobe's being treated, you know, when he's passed away is just pretty much unacceptable. Now I understand Kobe's got his haters and all that. So like I said, every player that's ever played a sport, individual or as a team sport, you know, if you're playing in a team sport, you have your lovers and your haters. But the way that Kobe was being treated, man, after he passed away, like it's been pretty crazy. It's been pretty crazy. And when I hear the fact that Jeanie Buss has been, listen, I said this a while ago that I said that I felt like the situation with Jeanie and Magic and Rob Pelinka was a matter of this whole game of it wasn't me. Like, you're all involved, but it's like, it's not me, it's him. It's not me, it's her. It's like everybody was pretty much trying to wipe their hands clean. So when I hear this, so when I hear what you're talking about, and you know, when you're saying about that white woman who pretty much defamed Kobe on national television, and she still has a job for MSNBC. Why didn't Jeannie Buss come out if you're, and the thing is, I know that a lot of these people know what's going on. It's just they just choose a way to stay away, and they feel like they're coming out at the right time, whether it's like a moment later or it's like a moment too late. And I feel like for me, there's a part of me that believes I don't really know. For me, I feel like this was more of a business relationship when she's talking about people like Magic, when she's talking about people like Kobe. I feel like if it's something about really much more their interest, much more than really if they have this quote unquote personal relationship. Because I feel like, yes, they, in a way that they're together, but there's just a part of me that's saying, why is it that she's getting away with these things when she's the owner of the team? Like, you're a woman in a position of power. You have the most, arguably, the most historic franchise other than the Boston Celtics. You know, you make the second most, your team has the second most value in NBA history behind the New York Knicks. Yet for some reason, she has never addressed any of these like racist remarks that have been made by some of these reporters and some of these people on social media. It's kind of like she comes out when the letter is when the letter is being attacked onto her. And I'm not saying what that letter said to her was okay, because it's not okay for that person to disrespect. But there's just something wrong with that letter for it to come out on the day that it did, knowing that there was a black protest going on, especially what Juneteenth stands for. But yet you want to tell me that you want to say all these great things about Kobe, what he meant for your organization when he played. But yet when he passed away, it's like I don't really hear you defending him when there's been a lot of things being said. I mean, how about the Gil King situation? When she had an interview with Lisa Leslie, and and Lisa Leslie was like, "Why are you still talking about Kobe when he's dead?" Okay, when they mentioned about the sexual allegations with that rape trial back in 2003, you know, with that alleged white woman, and Gail King wants to come back and say, "Well, you don't know. You're just saying that because you know you and Kobe were friends, but you know there might be a lot of stuff, you know, that we don't know about Kobe that he probably could have been this quote unquote rapist when there was already, you know, there was already proof that this woman had already used different DNA samples from other men to try to defend, to try to, I've said this once before. I blame Kobe for putting himself in that situation, knowing what kind of athlete he is, but at the same time, I because I know what these kind of people are going to do when you are a African American athlete of the caliber of a Kobe Bryant, and especially with your character and how people portray you as a villain. More so, and remember, before that, he was gonna get the treatment of being the face of the league because he was so well liked at one point. But after that trial, everything changed. And so when I hear things like that, and kudos, shout out to Lisa Leslie for standing up for Kobe when something like this was happening. And it was like, yo, you gotta, these are the things, you just gotta move on from it and pay him his respects. You notice that since Kobe has been dead, he has not been able to rest in peace. Vanessa actually went on Instagram and she had to cut down some of the fan pages on Father's Day because of the fact that Father's Day was on Sunday, was yesterday. And because Kobe no longer is, you know, no longer there, a lot of people have not been able to, you know, uh, they've been trying to remember him, and you know they wanted to remember him on Father's Day, and it was like she couldn't do it because she was like it was kind of like for not a way for us to move on. And then I look at the award show of that famous four-letter word network that they like to do usually on Sundays, and they want to do this fake commemoration about how how Kobe's life lives on, but it's like he's still getting disrespected beyond that, you know, which is crazy. Um, and yeah, like you said, we're gonna get to LeBron James in a second, but let me just check in the chat. Um, and again, shout out to Alex Sports. Appreciate you coming through. Subscribe to his channel. Um, Vonetta says that she is just campaigning for the Lakers and LeBron. I mean, which is in a sense true. And I feel like my issue with this is that if the Lakers do win the NBA title, this is not going to be about. I'm telling you right now, this is not going to be about Kobe Bryant. I'm already putting it on a limb right now. This is going to be about LeBron James. This isn't going to be about Kobe Bryant because I said if you look at the when LeBron is there, it's again he's about to become arguably the number. He's about to pass Magic in assists. He's chasing the all-time scoring record. He already passed Kobe in points. This is going to be the way for the media to say, especially his friends, that he's arguably the greatest Laker ever. When it's like he hasn't accomplished anything yet. All those other Lakers put blood, sweat, and tears to that franchise, and they won multiple championships. It's a championship or multiple championships. And I said and LeBron's only there for 4 years. Kareem played 14 seasons with LA. Magic Johnson played 12. Shaq played nearly a decade there. Kobe Bryant spent over half of his career there. Will Chamberlain was able to win a ring there, even though he was only there for like about 5 or 6 seasons. Um, Unfortunately, Elgin Baylor didn't get the chance to live a championship because of his knee injury and retired 9 games into the season. Jerry West spent his whole career in the Laker uniform, you know. And it's not I'm not here trying to spew hate on LeBron, and I know he's in LA and all that, but it's like again, I can't believe that people are just saying the word hate and you're just using it very loosely when you don't understand. Until he accomplishes anything, we can't say that he's a true Laker until he accomplishes it. And that's the whole thing. Let me just get into the chat before we get to him. And like I said, that's not hate on LeBron James. This is from what I'm gathering information, and I'm sure Anthony L has done his research and does his homework. And like I said, articulate brother, and you know, he puts his points out there. And the same thing with the chat. Why is LeBron not with his brothers but with a NASCAR driver? See, that's my thing too. I don't even think LeBron watches NASCAR for me to just say. I just feel like this is just a situation for him to take advantage of, and I feel like why is this why is this letter being at the forefront of the protest? I'm just wondering what the motive is there because he wasn't a puppet. Like, well, to be honest with you, it's a little bit iffy when it comes to him, but tweeting from home doesn't make you the most woke player. Well, oh wow, really? I'll get to that in a second. Okay, it was Gabrielle Union that got on D Wade and LeBron to speak out on Trayvon Martin, so she didn't do that. So if she didn't do that, it could be said that they would have never stood up. Did not know that. I got my feelings on Gabrielle Union too, but I'll leave that on another day. That Lakers organization is trash, man. It's a reason why Magic left that organization. But the thing is also, Magic to me is low key, kind of sneaky, man. When it comes to him, when it comes to him, when it comes to him, man, it's like, yeah, I get Magic because, like I said, like what Anthony L was saying, there's for me there was just a lot of finger pointing going on, and I just feel like Magic to me was really more so to be there as a sales pitch, as a salesman. He wasn't really there to kind of really be what the Laker organization was about, despite the fact him being there. Because look how quickly he was gone, and Rob Pelinka, he's getting the credit. And then Magic went on national television and said that he deserves credit for bringing LeBron and AD there. So the season that the Lakers are having covers up the fact that there's still a lot of dysfunction in that organization. We always say the true thing, man. Winning kind of cures all. So the fact that the Lakers have the best record, it's really covering the dysfunction in that lot in that organization. That's big facts, Ron. All right, Anthony L, the floor is yours on LeBron James, man. Go ahead, man, and I'll carry on the back end, man.
Okay, so there's a lot more, layers to peel when it comes to that Lakers front office and Jeanie Buss, but we can get to that, in a little bit. But
Hmm.
getting on LeBron, this is my issue with LeBron. Okay. Now everybody knows that LeBron has minions that he throws out into the media. Now people say, oh, LeBron, he puts people on, he helps people get paid, clutch sports help people get paid, and 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 they give folks jobs. But this is my issue when it comes to LeBron. See, a lot of times a lot of people get on LeVar Ball because they say, oh, he's putting down other players to make his sons great. But in actuality, LeBron is doing the same thing, but he's doing it in a way to where he's funneling it through his minions. He uses his minions as filters to attack other people that he feels is a threat to him.
Mm-hmm.
Because think about it, all of the people that he has helped bring on to the ESPN network and get them jobs there between Damon Jones, Richard Jefferson, um, who else? Kendrick Perkins, and the list goes on. All of those people, that he has, that all of those minions that he has, those plants, we call them plants that they put into the media, and that goes for Shannon Sharp too. All of these
Right.
guys are LeBron plants. See, they say the things that LeBron is thinking, but he's just too scared to say it himself because he don't want to get the backlash. So he'll just pay somebody else to say what's on his mind and let them take the brunt of the backlash and the brunt of the force for it. So that's what, to me, LeBron is a coward because I feel like we already know that everything that's being said between Kendrick Perkins and Shannon Sharp and all these other guys in the media, we already know they're being sent on behalf of LeBron and Clutch Sports to say those things. It's not a coincidence that Rich Paul is attack Giannis because Giannis didn't want to kiss his butt and he didn't want to go work out with LeBron. So he came out and said Anthony Davis. He thought Anthony Davis is better than Giannis. And rather you think for or against, it really doesn't matter. It wasn't necessary or even called for him to come out publicly and even make a comment like that. You understand what I'm saying? When you
Yeah.
see Kendrick Perkins get on Durant, and when he spills, and this is what really irritates me about Kendrick Perkins because he sat up there the other day and talk about Kevin Durant is his brother, all these guys is his brother. Those old Boston teammates, they was his brother too. But you sitting up there gossiping, you telling all of their business, you telling team locker room secrets that have never should have been spilled out like that. And you've been getting on Kevin Durant for the past 3 years, ever since he left OKC. And now you
Mm-hmm.
want to sit up there with crocodile tears and 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 act like and play like you a victim when you have disparaged a guy that you call as a brother. You've been disparaging him this whole time, talking about
Mm-hmm.
how weak he was for leaving OKC as a free agent, for honoring his contract as a free agent,
Mm-hmm.
and going to the Golden State Warriors. Right? He didn't
Mm-hmm.
he didn't try to uh 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 team up with bring superstars in from other teams and formulate a super team. He just joined another team. He just joined another team as a free agent. So because you guys thought that was unfair, you guys stockpiled on him, But there was no same energy. They don't give LeBron the same energy when not only you recruited Anthony Davis, you tried to recruit Kawhi and Jimmy Butler to go along with Anthony Davis. So everybody talking about how much help do Kevin Durant need? How much help do LeBron need? And see, this is the problem that I have, and it's getting back. I'm not. I'm getting somewhere. I'm not trying to get too far off because we're talking about that letter. This is how
Mm-hmm.
it ties into the letter. Because
Mm-hmm.
my issue with LeBron is that you talk all this stuff about the NBA as a brotherhood. You talk about how you know everybody looks at you as the face of the NBA. You speak on behalf of the NBA. You have a brother who you won a championship with, and Kyrie Irving. No matter what your on the court issues with Kyrie Irving is, this is a man at the end of the day that helped you win a championship. You understand what I'm saying? This is a
Mm-hmm.
man who's standing on principles as a black man, and you have been silent. you haven't came out publicly and given any type of support towards not just Kyrie Irving, but towards your own teammates. You got your own teammates. You got Avery Bradley and Dwight Howard saying right now I don't feel comfortable playing because of what's going on in my community. Where was your tweets at for them? Where was your tweets at for Kyrie Irving? But you wanna rush and put out a response to Jeanie Buss putting out a letter, but you can't even stand by your own black brothers. I have an issue with that. You're doing all this clout chasing on Twitter, you know, but where are you at on the front lines? And I'm not
Hold
trying to sit here and act
hold on,
like
hold on, Anthony. Give me a second. You're sounding a little bit. I don't know what's going on with the mic, but for some reason it sounded like your voice got like lighter as you were talking. I don't know if that's. Can you hear me
can you
pretty
hear
well?
me? Can you hear me?
Uh, yeah, yeah, sounds better now.
Okay. So what I was saying, I'm not trying to say that LeBron hasn't done good things in the community, but if you look around the league, you see what's going on. You see Ennis Canner out there with the people, you know, marching and protesting. You see other guys like Marcus Smart. You see, like I just mentioned, I marched, with Russell Westbrook and DeMar DeRozan in Compton. You know, you see Carl Anthony Towns in Minnesota with the people, marching with the people. You see
Hold on,
all
hold,
of these other.
hold on. It's happening again for some reason. I don't know what's going on. Can you hear me clearly?
Can you hear me now?
Yeah, it's still sounding a little. Still sounding like the. It felt like if the sound was kind of like fading away, and then it sounds like you just sound like light. I don't know what's going on.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah, I can hear you, but it's making like this weird sound, like when you talk. I don't know what's going on.
Is that better?
Yeah, that sounds better.
Okay.
Loud and clear.
What part did you miss, or did you not
You
hear
would
clearly
so
when I was
I
talking?
was hearing I was hearing most of it because you were saying that I already heard you said that look at the other players. You talked about Dwight Howard and why LeBron hasn't spoken out, on them in terms of what they're doing, and you talked about even Enos Cantor has been out there. So you can continue, going there.
Okay, yeah. So my point is that you see all of these other players speaking out, but it seems like the media only wants to highlight what LeBron has to say, and I'm hearing reports that, initially when Kyrie Irving called for the meeting when they had it on Zoom, I believe, the first meeting that they had, LeBron didn't
Hmm.
even want to be a part of it. So it's like, well, wait a minute, you doing all of this voicing out and speaking out on social media, you know. But when you got one of your fellow NBA brothers speaking out, and they're trying to actually bring about change, and it's not like Kyrie Irving is going against LeBron wanting the season to return. All Kyrie Irving is just doing his job as vice president and saying, "Hey, you know, I'm going to speak on behalf of the players who want to return, and I'm going to speak on behalf other players who don't want to return because they deserve to have their voices heard too. And that's why I didn't like that tweet that LeBron put out saying that, oh, me and my teammates is ready, but you got your own teammates contradicting what you're saying because Avery Bradley and Dwight Howard and who knows how many other players that are anonymous who don't want to play either. That's speaking out along with Avery Bradley and Dwight Howard who don't feel comfortable playing right now. And then you're coming out saying that me and my teammates is ready. That's wrong. You can't speak for other people like that. You can't speak on behalf of other people like that. If you got other people that's saying, they have concerns about the NBA resuming, you need to be willing to address those concerns and not muffle out those voices. That's the issue that I have with LeBron is it's like, he's given this whole aura that what he says goes and what anybody else has to say doesn't matter because they're not on my level. That's the type of attitude, low key, that I'm getting from LeBron is that it don't matter what anybody else has to say. It don't matter what Kyrie Irving has to say. I'm LeBron. I'm the face of the NBA, and if I say the NBA is coming back, it's coming back. I don't like that, you know. I don't have an issue. I don't have a problem. I don't, you know, I just find that mind boggling because it's like, not only are we dealing with issues when it comes to social injustice, we're dealing with a pandemic right now, you know, and God forbid, they go to Orlando and new because there's already new cases popping up, you know,
Hmm.
of people being affected by this in Florida at really high rates. So it's like, is it really that worth it for you to say that you potentially or possibly, this is your possible or potential chance of winning a championship at the age of 35, so you could have something that the media can compare with Jordan when you still only got four at the end of the day? Is it really that worth it for you to be that selfish like that? But my whole issue is that you have no problem speaking out on NASCAR. You have no problem speaking out when it comes to the Jeanie Buss letter. He even dipped his nose in the MLB business. You
Hold,
remember when?
hold, wait, hold on again. Kind of for some reason the mic is like it kind of starts to fade. I don't know why it's happening, but I'm sure it's not your fault at all. I don't know why. And it's like you were starting to make really good points too.
Can you hear me now?
Nah, it's still sounding the same. I can hear you, but it's just making that weird sound.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah, I can hear you. I'm just saying that the sound. Yeah, it's just the sound. I could definitely hear you, but it's making that weird sound.
Yeah, I'm sorry about that. I'll try to wrap it up real quick. But what I was saying was is that, if you remember, he even had something to say about um, the situation in with the MLB
Hmm.
where the Astros was exposed for the cheating when that cheating scandal broke out, and he came out
Right.
and blasted the commissioner and said,
Anthony, are you there? It looks like Anthony might be having some technical difficulties. Hopefully his screen didn't freeze. Um, and he's probably talking, but I didn't hear. But here we go. While Anthony tries to get that situation fixed, shout out to everybody who has been able to come through and make sure to like the video. Appreciate it for everybody. Let me just check in with the chat because Anthony was speaking some really good points, and I just want to get to the chat, because I haven't seen the chat in a little bit. Shout out to Ron. He says if LeBron doesn't win a chip for the Lakers, their fan base is going to slap him. Here's the thing, also, man. It's like we have to really see like because there's kind of an issue here with the whole Lakers and LeBron's fans thing because remember LeBron plays for the Lakers and we know how passionate Laker fans are, and hopefully Anthony L could come back on the back end of this. But the issue is that there's a lot of LeBron fans who are in Laker colors, but some of them are going to see that they're Laker fans when they're really more so LeBron fans, and there's people who won't admit that. And it's like, just admit that you're just a LeBron fan. There's really no problem with that. But then my thing is like, if LeBron goes, are you going to stay loyal to the Lakers? If I'm not saying that LeBron is going to because he still has 2 years left on his contract. But what I'm saying is if LeBron, let's say he happens to try to leave, the Lakers, for example, I'm like, are you going to say that you're a diehard Laker fan and you're going to cheer for your Lakers, or are you going to go to another organization, so wherever LeBron goes, and then say that you're a fan of that organization when you're just a fan of LeBron? That's all that is, man. Shout out to Freddie G, man. He says, "What's good? What's good, Freddie? Hope everything is good with you, my brother." Ron says LeBron deals with things in a passive aggressive manner. Yeah, we know this. Juanetta says that they also infiltrated TNT by having D Wade on their platform. TNT used to be LeBron James's accountability. I mean, that was mostly because of Charles Barkley. I mean, to a point, he still kind of holds him accountable. Maybe not as much. Ever since LeBron attacked him, personally, publicly, when Charles made a criticism, it's crazy how Charles has criticized both MJ and LeBron. And I mentioned this in the LeBron and Jordan being so pampered by the media, and so LeBron attacked Charles publicly about his problems, his personal problems, and then Michael Jordan pretty much cut off his friendship after that. So that just told me a lot of sensitivity right there. Anthony going in, yeah, Anthony was going in. Shout out to Jay in the building. He says Magic made a promise about the playoffs. Him stepping down was gonna come either way. True. Shout out to Jay. He says, hey to the panel. Appreciate you. And just give me a second, Anthony. I'm gonna bring you back on. Freddie says, what's up, Jay? Yeah, man, they shouldn't be playing. And like I said, I agree with you. Hey, shout out to Louisville Cardinal, man. Appreciate you coming through. I know he's on. He usually is on Alex Sports Channel. Louisville Cardinal. Appreciate you coming through, man. That's what's up, man. I appreciate it. Um, Winetta says MJ never put himself again. Shout out to Louisville Cardinals. Um, she says MJ never put himself ahead of the players' union when the president Patrick Ewing back then was fighting on behalf of the lowest bench players. MJ actually stood by his side, which is true. Especially if you look at, yeah, no, no, Freddie, I know you're an Atlanta Hawks fan, but you're a Braun fan. That's cool. Hey, Freddie, no, I'm a Braun fan. Um, my bad. No, no, it's all good, Anthony. Oh man, it's all good. I know, we usually have technical difficulties. That's why I apologize sometimes when I start late. It's because, like I said, my internet at times is not the best. Even if I have, and I also got to update my router at some point. Times have been hard with these, with all the looting and stuff going on, and a lot of these stores having to close and shut down. So it's been kind of difficult. But I said I'm really gonna try to get this whole thing fixed, and so I try to be more on time. But it's like a lot of it is because I have technical issues and I have kind of issues with my keyboard. So I apologize for that. I see you, Anthony. I'm gonna put you back on. The Lakers could lose some bandwagon fans, man. There's enough of them. Absolutely. All right, Anthony. Just got you back in here, man. Hopefully everything is okay with that thing. Um, Freddie Gee says, man, get Anthony back on, man, because he was cooking. Major big facts, man. My man was cooking tonight, cooking some jambalaya, some gumbo stew. My man was cooking some southern fried catfish. I mean, Anthony L was in the back cooking, bro. Um, Gabrielle, yeah, like I said, I got my things on Gabrielle Union, man. When it comes to her and it comes to D Wade, but like I said, I'm gonna leave that for another day just to kind of be nice, man. Um, so t- so I hate to break it, man, but there's some things about Gabrielle Union that you're gonna have to do research on. So Anthony L kind of left again, but there's some things on the Gabrielle Union that you're actually there's some dark secrets about her, especially in her connection with D Wade, that you might want to look upon to kind of find out more about Gabrielle Union. Trust me, and Freddie Gee actually does know what I'm talking about. And like I said, this ain't got nothing to with her being as a woman. It's about the stuff that she does. Trust me. If you look some stuff up about Gabrielle Union and D Wade, it kind of also alleges as to why D Wade is the way that he is right now, and especially with some of the things that even D Wade's ex-wife has said. But like I said, you got to look at that stuff. That listen, that you really got to look that stuff up. Okay, Ron says very good exposition on the part of Anthony L, which I agree with, and hopefully Anthony L could come back on because I told you that he was spitting some heat. Um, oh yeah, on a whole nother level, man. Yeah, that's a part of it, but I'm telling you, it goes a lot deeper than that. But people who don't people who refuse to go deep, like I said, they don't have to. But like I said, I'm not here to talk about Gabrielle Union and D Wade. Like I said, that's a whole nother subject. But getting back onto this letter and getting on Jeanie Bus, which is why I'm one of the people that sit here and will say that this ain't all LeBron's fault when it comes to this Lakers organization. And obviously, I know that things were pretty bad. Even things were bad even before he got here because it goes back to what Ron was saying. This is an organization because they're winning right now and they have the best record in the West. It's it's keeping quiet on the dysfunction in the organization. No, it's not. It's not that. It's not that one. It has nothing to do with that, man. It has nothing to do with that. It has nothing to do with that. I'm telling you, it's a lot. It's a lot. It's a lot more than that. I'm telling you, when you really find out, you'll understand. It's got nothing to do with that. And you'll. I don't expect you to understand right now, but I'm saying when you look to it, like I said, I'm gonna lay off of that because I know that that's kind of touchy just for the fact that again, this kind of deals with women, and I understand when that again because this is from a woman's position, and then on top of that, that she's a black woman. But it's got nothing to do with that. It's again, this is more so on action. So she says she's really out there. Oh, I'm telling you, man. Yeah, she says, my brother, man, and I love him to death. And it's like, what's her track record? Well, here's one thing before I get off of it. One thing that she tried to do, she had been trying to mess. She tried to mess with Aisha and Steph Curry's marriage. If you look into that, it'll kind of tell you why she's really out there. But that's just a small sample. That's all I'm gonna give, man. There's the whole Nate Parker thing, but also she even tried to sabotage the marriage between Steph and Aisha. There's quite a few articles about that. There's quite a few articles about that. There's a lot more, but like I said, that again, that would be for another time. And like I said, you really would have to do your research on that one. But getting back to what I was saying, um, and like I said, this got nothing against her like as a woman at all, because that's not what I'm portraying. But getting back, getting back to what I was talking about, so this is kind of like my issue with what's going on with Jeanie Buss, and this is kind of my thing with LeBron a little bit in a sense too, where Anthony L was talking about, because you see what all of these brothers are doing out here in terms of the players in the league. The Dwight Howards, the cop, even if Dwight Howard has a personal relationship with the cop, who was part of the Rashard Brooks situation. You also look at, obviously what Kyrie's doing right now. And again, people are going to think different, obviously, because they feel like Kyrie's got his own agendas or whatever, and he's got his own motives. Right. You look at what Jaylen Brown is doing. You look at what, even to a sense, man, Steph, Clay, and even Aisha, when they were out there. Anthony O talked about how, he was there in Compton with Russell Westbrook and DeMar DeRozan when they were doing their march out there protesting also. Um, and this is why I go back to what LeBron has said before. He says that he compares himself to Muhammad Ali. Well, I said to myself that this would have been the perfect opportunity for LeBron to actually, if he really wanted to be the epicenter. See, LeBron is the epicenter, but he's the epicenter of Twitter. He's the epicenter of social media. It's not that he's the epicenter of action. So I'm saying that LeBron actually would get even a lot more credit if he was actually to put himself out there. The thing is, he's not going to do that. Um, I don't know if you taking that seriously or not. As if to say, yo, like y'all hating again. And like I said, man, I'm not trying to say that, because it's like I look at it this way. He if LeBron really wants to look at himself at this Muhammad Ali, he would be putting himself out there. Now, he could have took the MJ route and decided that he's not going to get himself involved. But I just find it strange that when Jeanie Buss takes a letter and she puts it on that whole Juneteenth thing, all of a sudden, okay, he says, I love you, Jeanie, because of the Lakers organization. But for some reason, and I want to know who this anonymous person is that decided to disrespect Kobe Bryant in that same letter, which is just very weird. Then a NASCAR driver has a noose in a garage stall, not him, but that what was found. And LeBron, from what I know, I've never heard LeBron even being part of NASCAR. All of a sudden, he says, I'm right there with you. Well, when you say that I'm right there with you, it's kind of like, don't you think that you would be part of you would kind of be kind of like in front lines with the fight? Um, Let me just check into the chat real quick. Yep. Anthony L says, "Hey Lewis, I'm on my laptop. I have to let my phone charge for a minute. It's all cool. It's all good, man. It's all good." Um, all right. He says he'll be in the chat. I will try to get the chance when I do, man. All right. Blessed as well. All right, no doubt. All right. So yeah, my thing is that when we talk about this situation, and this is what's kind of concerning me, it's kind of like, this is why I feel like LeBron actually would get all this. He would get a lot of credit because he's the face of the NBA. You think about this. He puts himself out there. He's all for trying to get a new league. You know, because of the fact that these guys are the ones that make these white owners the money. And you know what's so hypocritical about these owners in the NBA? It's crazy to me that Jeanie Buss has not even rallied the other owners in the NBA on the systemic racism that's happening in society. The only thing that she addressed was her. And I'm gonna say this again. I'm not saying that it's okay for a person who happened to write this letter that she quote unquote found and posted on Instagram uh disrespected her. I'm not okay with that. Disrespecting women is not okay. But what I'm saying is when you have a player who played 20 years for you that you've known for a long time since he was a teenager get disrespected by many people in the media and still labeling him a rapist to this day, and you haven't said nothing about that, that's a problem. Um, Also, with what's going on in society, and you're saying, I noticed that you talked about your white, you said your white friends, but the thing is, you address more so about you. And I'm not saying that there's nothing wrong with that, but I'm also saying that you have a fallen brother who's no longer with us, but yet you have not addressed the hate that Kobe Bryant's getting, and he passed away. And then you look at what the other NBA players are doing, and it's like you're not really speaking out on that. And a lot of owners have been quiet. You look at James Dolan. He said he's above with him and the Knicks organization getting involved in any systemic issues in the first place. That lets you know where he's at. He's about his organization and his money. So at least he was honest. At least he was honest. But you haven't heard the other owners in the league. You look at the Colin Kaepernick situation, and I don't mean to double off, but this is what it has in connection with this letter. Him and Kendrick Perkins, when it comes to LeBron and Kendrick Perkins, and then when we talk about the people in the NFL are trying to take advantage of Colin Kaepernick so that they can look good and for whoever signs him. You look at that. You look at that idiot Roger Goodell. You're not telling me that the NFL owners and Roger Goodell, the same dudes that said to get this SOB out of the field for kneeling to the American flag, all of a sudden are like they regret that Colin Kaepernick is not signed by an NFL team. They regret of the fact that we were misunderstood because we thought about it was the American flag. It took you 4 years to realize that, ladies and gentlemen. To the NFL owners, it took you guys 4 years to realize that it was not about the flag. And then Pete Carroll comes out and says, "Oh, I regret not signing Colin Kaepernick 2 years ago." That just tells me that you guys had the opportunity and you didn't take it. It's the same thing with Jeanie Buss. You had the opportunity to really address these issues and you haven't done it. And I'm not saying that addressing your issue is not important, but at the same time, you should have addressed that issue that was happening to Kobe, and you should be helping getting the owners together, addressing the issues of what is happening in society. The NBA players are taking more action than the people that actually have the resources in their damn pockets. The million and billionaires. That to me is what I don't understand. So let me just go right back into the chat. Juanetta says, I have been courted by women, but I let them know that I'm strictly. Yo, Juanetta, I feel you on that. That's a good answer. Shout out to Karam. He says it's back. Does Mark Cuban the only guy that cares? Let me ask the chat that. Does Mark Cuban actually really care? I wonder. I don't believe the letter was real. I believe she or someone she knows wrote that letter. That's what I'm starting to really think. Exactly. This is why I don't trust Mark Cuban either, because he was one of the first people to address it. But remember, Mark is a billionaire. This is about money. That's why I don't trust Mark anyway. I mean, you could kind of give him credit for him putting himself out there, but why is he doing it? This is all strategy, folks. This is strategy. If you really pay attention, no disrespect to the Dallas Mavericks, no disrespect to Mark Cuban, but this is all about strategy. It's strategy. This is strategy. This is all strategy. Anthony L also says, why does LeBron use Perkins to attack other black men? I'm gonna get on that too. Other black men. It's like he throws out mixed messages when he does that. If you claim you're for the cause and support Kyrie, this is my other issue, man. I'm not saying that LeBron is not the best player when it comes to him and Kyrie Irving, but we could say that LeBron led every statistical category in the NBA Finals in 2016. But didn't Kyrie help you win a championship? I mean, there's a reason why Kyrie was on that team in the first place. He helped you win an NBA title. The problem is the media and his delusional fan base keep making it seem like if he did it all by himself. And I'm like, no. Why is it that it takes a team when LeBron loses, but he did it by himself when he wins? That's my issue. That's all I say. But for some reason, it's quote unquote hate. And I'm like, if you say that the NBA is a brotherhood, like Anthony L was saying when he was on the panel, then why is it you're not supporting Dwight Howard? Why isn't it you're not supporting Avery Bradley? Two people on your own team that said that we need to address the racial issues in this country first before we deal with NBA basketball games. But it's like we're applauding LeBron for being on Twitter. If you're Muhammad Ali was out there. This is why I can't stand Kendrick Perkins, because Kendrick Perkins, you're criticizing Kevin Durant when you were already LeBron's teammate the year before. The When Kevin Durant left in 2016, you were already in your second season with the Cavaliers. Do you forget that you was also not only a teammate of LeBron James but a teammate of Kyrie Irving too? We could say what we want about Giannis Antetokounmpo. We could say what we want about Kevin Durant. We could say what we want about Kyrie. You even criticized James Harden, the same person who you said is better than Steph Curry. Why are you saying that? Let me connect the dots, ladies and gentlemen. Number one, and I'm gonna get to the chat in a second. LeBron James has played with Kyrie Irving. LeBron James has played with Kendrick Perkins. Kendrick Perkins played with Kevin Durant. Kendrick Perkins played with Russell Westbrook. Kendrick Perkins has played with James Harden. Kendrick Perkins has had an issue with Steph Curry. Kawhi Leonard is a threat considered to LeBron, so that's why he disrespects him. Giannis Antetokounmpo is considered a threat to LeBron. That's why he disrespects him. Kevin Durant, who no longer was his teammate and now who he goes against the media, is another threat to LeBron. Do you guys understand the picture that I'm all putting together now? Do you guys understand when I'm connecting all this? Kendrick Perkins is talking about brotherhood. He praises Jaylen Brown for what he did driving to Atlanta, starting a peaceful protest, but he's criticizing Kyrie Irving when he's supposed to be his quote unquote brother, saying that if you put Kyrie's brain in a bird, he'd fly backwards. And it's crazy how Bill, and then he says that LeBron is the greatest athlete he ever seen, and he got checked by an 86-year-old man in Bill Russell, who not only showed him doing the triple jump, but he showed him doing an athletic layup in an NBA game in the 60s. Then Wilson Chandler checked him, and Wilson Chandler is just a role player, and he had to tell on the phone to Kendrick to publicly apologize to Kyrie Irving. And you know what's so crazy? Stephen A is another one of these clowns too. You are the same people that criticize LeBron, but then y'all want to call him his brother, and he's doing all these wonderful things. Don't y'all notice what's happening? Systemic black on black crime, ladies and gentlemen. Don't you notice that when the blacks sell out for the money, they will criticize their own just to make a dollar? And people don't see this. That's what's so ridiculous about this whole thing, man. Let me get into the comment section once again. Um, Juanetta, I believe the letter. Female owner, big Kobe supporter. Timing is questionable. LeBron speaking on it sincerely is questionable. And I'm not saying that it might not be true. I'm just saying that the timing of this is questionable. And again, I'm saying it again. She released this 5 days after she received it. That's why I question the timing of it. So it's possible. I would love to know who this anonymous person is, but I feel like it's not going to happen. And then again, when LeBron quickly responds to it, I'm like, LeBron, there's your brothers that you keep saying that the NBA is a brotherhood. They're protesting out there and trying to promote social change. I said, you look at DeMar DeRozan, Russell Westbrook, these guys. I mean, look, Bertans has already withdrew from playing in the NBA for the quarantine. So did Trevor Ariza. He withdrew out already too. And like Anthony L said, there's a pandemic going on and cases have gone up in Florida. Yet Adam Silver's trying to get through and trying to continue the season. And did you hear Stephen A on the network today? He says that they need to move the bubble to New York because the cases have gone down. And Stephen A, did you ever even stop and think about the possibility of the pandemic going up again with the fact that there's so many people, but it's supposed to be quote unquote quarantine? Did you even think about that, Stephen A? No, no. Yo, shout out to Johnson Daily Sports. And let me go back. Mark Cuban is just trying to protect his brand. Exactly. He's a capitalist, man. He's a capitalist. And it's like, again, I'm not trying to hate on the brother, but it's like if you look at his actions, LeBron cannot come out and say that he's Muhammad Ali or he's trying to be Muhammad Ali. You can't say stuff like that, man. Muhammad Ali didn't have Twitter, and he didn't even and there was no Twitter in the 60s. He was in front of national press. He was hated by people. They loved him once he got out, once he got the Parkinson's disease. Once he had Parkinson's, that's when people started to love him because they started to feel bad. But did they really care about Muhammad Ali when he was opening his mouth, when he was in the prime of his career? The man lost 3 years of his prime. He got his boxing license stripped. No matter what you want to say about Muhammad Ali, he lost 3 years of his career. And it took him a while to get his timing back after he lost to Joe Frazier for the heavyweight title. That's why Muhammad Ali was fighting very frequently so that he could get his timing back. And Anthony L says Mark Cuban did admit a couple of years ago that if he saw a black man walking down the street at night, he'll cross from the other side. He really did say that? Okay. Um, Winetta says she believes Steve Ballmer, who was really affected by that Floyd killing, you can see it in his face and hear it in his voice. What did Mark Cuban do? Well, Mark Cuban, when the whole pandemic happened, he was quick to respond in terms of saying that he was going to compensate for the employees in his arena. He said that, and that he was going to support people who were not able to, who were going to be laid off. So that's what he said. But again, why do you think that he's also pressing for this back, man? See, and that's my problem, man. Ron says that when you're trying to push a narrative, then half truths and hypocrisy is the name of the game. Absolutely. If you LeBron, you can at least stand with your own teammates and support Avery Bradley and Dwight Howard. Listen, people will respect LeBron a lot more if he's still with Avery Bradley and Dwight Howard. And it's okay if you have a difference of opinion. But when there's a conference call with Kyrie Irving, the person that you won a championship with, and you decide to deny that call because you so badly are trying to get that fourth championship because you want to try to catch Michael Jordan, the ghost of Chicago. Let me ask you this question to the chat. If I'm LeBron James, I'm asking myself, if I'm supposed to be this socially woke athlete, right? Is a championship really worth more than social justice? Or is it more about social justice and for the people to really understand that you're right there with them? Because again, LeBron may not be a billionaire, but he makes a lot of money. I mean, he's with the sponsorship, right? So when I say this stuff, guys, I mean, I'm telling you, it's like, again, if LeBron could get so much credit if he actually will support his team, if he will support Dwight Howard and Avery Bradley, because all of us have been saying in the chat that this is bigger than the game of basketball. I want to see everybody healthy. I want to see everybody not dealing with this pandemic, man, because listen, life has been an adjustment for a lot of people, during this pandemic. That's what really stinks about this whole thing. It's been an adjustment for a lot of people. Let me just keep checking in the comment section before I continue. These white owners in the NBA don't give a crap about what's going on right now, really. They're only pretending to care because they want to protect their brand, man. They're all capitalists, and that goes for the 32 owners in the NFL too. Now they want to look good to say that, oh, maybe we should take a chance on signing Colin Kaepernick. It's all BS, man. It's all BS. It's all BS. And just give me one. And then, ladies and gentlemen, just think about this for a second. Remember what Donald Trump said about Colin Kaepernick when he kneeled. He said to get him off the field because nobody should be kneeling against the American flag. But what year are we in? 2020, the year of clear vision, right? What's happening in 2020? The election. What did Donald Trump say now? He believes that Colin Kaepernick deserves a second chance. Now, is he going to keep that same energy when he becomes president and Kaepernick gets signed by an NFL team? I don't think so. I don't really think so. Um, and that's my problem. And see, Freddie Gee, that's why I attack the media a lot, because when you look at Stephen A. and Perk, and he says that they buck dancing, the thing is that how you Steve, it's what I said about Stephen A. All 2018, 2019, you criticized LeBron on every single little thing when LeBron failed to get the Lakers into the playoffs. Yet for some reason this season, ever since Anthony Davis got traded there, it's oh LeBron, he's socially active in social media. He spreads awareness. He's the best player in the world. See, you wasn't saying that last year. You said, let me make sure that I get all these things off my chest, off the list. I mean, are we clear that LeBron is a philanthropist? Are we clear that LeBron is a great father? He's one of the best players in the world. Remember, he said that I had to make sure that I get off that checklist, or else I'm gonna be called a hater. Remember when he called out LeBron on the network when LeBron about those reports, and LeBron said that they weren't true when he was training? And what did Stephen A. do? He screamed his lungs out in front of his live TV television audience and how LeBron should come on the show. You think LeBron was going to give him that attention? No. What does that tell you? LeBron owns you. He owns you. Do you really think the Lakers organization holds disgruntled fan letters? I really don't know. I really don't know. Like I said, this all connects kind of like with the timing of like everything. Okay, if I understand LeBron may not be too fond of Kyrie, I get that, but at least support your own teammates. You can stand up for a NASCAR driver, but not your own teammates. That's what I just find very strange about all of this, man. A NASCAR driver has a noose in his garage, and LeBron, the first thing LeBron does, I'm right there with you. But you're not with your NBA brothers, you're not with your teammates. Listen, you don't have to like Kyrie, LeBron. I get all that. A lot of your supportive fans don't like Kyrie neither because they'll say that he's nothing but a locker room cancer. They'll say that he ruins team chemistry. They'll say that he's nothing without LeBron and he was going to regret it. And that's what that sucker, that SOB gets. That's what a lot of them have said. And I understand that. You want nothing to do with Kyrie, right? Because in your words, you said that before when I leave, I was going to give the keys to Kyrie. Well, remember, Kyrie was supposed to get the keys, but you took the keys away from him when you came back to Cleveland. See, that's the part that people don't want to remember though. That I was going to give Kyrie the keys when I left. But my question is, why did you come back when the keys were originally supposed to be given to Kyrie to see what he could do trying to lead his own team when you first left Miami? See, that's something that nobody talks about. And again, this is not about hate. I'm just lining up the facts with all of the events that have happened in LeBron's career from the moment that he left the Heat in 2014. Who still writes letters in this social media? That's a very good. That's another thing. That's another thing because again, we do have social media. I mean, we have emails, but that's kind of a good point. Who still writes letters? That's a good question. Good question. Check the letters when Kobe passed away. The same LeBron James apologist got on MJ for not standing with Craig Hodges. Well, remember, not just that, Magic Johnson too, because he got on Magic too. Facts. Low key. I mean, who knows, man? Freddie says, Juanetta, how was that the same if shout out to Timmy G Spot, man. Appreciate you coming through, man. What's up, my brother? Hope everything is good with you, man. Again, guys, smash the like button, hit that subscribe button. Make sure you guys are sharing this on your social media outlets, man, about this Jeanie bus situation. Obviously, with both Kobe and LeBron James. Um, and again, he says, what's up? Yeah, so getting back on this, guys, I want to ask y'all a question. Do you honestly think, given what's happening in the season, right? Well, with the suspended season right now, I have another question for you. How come? How come? How come Adam Silver hasn't really? I mean, because he says some things, but I feel like the players are kind of taking more so of the onus than the owners are. Adam Silver being the commissioner because he answers to them. Why hasn't he taken accountability on this issue? Because if you be honest, I mean, I know he says some things, but I feel like he's been a little quiet on this one. Let me know what you guys think in the comments on Adam Silver because Stephen A. so badly wants the bubble, this whole tournament bubble with all these players because of the cases going up in Florida to now come to New York, not thinking of the risk that it can do for the people in New York City. especially when businesses are quote unquote trying to open again, but then you're trying to force another close down. Because then Stephen A will come out on TV and say, well, why are you listening to me for? Like, I don't have that choice. I said that this would be the right thing to do. I said it would be the right thing to go. And my thing is, Stephen A, you're just finding a reason for you to step out of the studios and go somewhere in New York, whether it be the Garden or whatever facility they're holding this tournament in. I don't know what it is, man. Um, and Karan says the Cavs have always been a lottery team. Well, you kind of have to say recently, because remember, if you look at the 90s, they weren't. To Salute to Brandon Nicholson, man. Appreciate you for coming through on the Lewis Sports Network. Again, guys, keep smashing that like and subscribe button, man, for me. And continue to, share this on your social media, man, because I just think that this is really important. Juanetta, Brown should definitely stand with Kyrie and the rest of the league. He's lame as hell for not doing that, and that's my thing, because like I said, Freddie D, like just think, because if you really put your mind to it, think about it. The players, if they put their resources together and LeBron has a plan, they can definitely start their own league and really stick it to these NBA owners. To be honest with you, they can start their own black league. Obviously, you're going to need funding and obviously you're going to need a plan. But just think, if you guys can really put your heads together and stand together, you and Kyrie, you guys don't have to see eye to eye. Okay, you can have different visions on how you guys want to do, on how you see things. But I'm telling you now, and I have to agree a little bit on Juanetta on this too. Maybe Kawhi is not as socially aware when it comes to these social issues, and maybe it's not. But low key, he kind of should be speaking too, because I'm gonna get on Kawhi too on this. And notice Anthony, I've not really heard Anthony Davis talk, because he's been really quiet, really, really, really quiet. I haven't heard Anthony, I haven't heard AD say nothing. The last time I saw AD, he was taking a bike ride with LeBron and J.R. Smith in LA, Sunnyside LA, when the protests were going on in Cali. Meanwhile, Russell Westbrook and DeMar DeRozan were out there protesting. And shout out to Anthony L. He said that he was out there with Russ and with DeRozan out there protesting. And salute to Anthony L for that, man. And like I said, this ain't got nothing to do with basketball, man. This ain't got nothing to do with basketball. Like I said, we're talking about the importance of black people here. And I get that people are saying that all lives matter, but until black lives matter, all lives cannot matter. Until black lives matter first, all lives cannot matter. So this is bigger than the game. You take care of this issue, you can focus on basketball. Basketball is the furthest thing that should be on anybody's mind. So I'm not just saying that about LeBron. I should be saying that about anybody's mind. But the reason it's going to fall on LeBron is because of what he's doing right now. And that's what I'm saying. And Freddie Gee, shout out to Freddie Gee for being a real one right now, because um, let me just go into the chat. And Adam Silver is showing David Stern true colors. Absolutely. 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 Which is why I said I'm really not starting to like Adam Silver, because when he first addressed the Donald Sterling situation, I was a fan. What he's been doing these last couple of years, I've not been a fan of. He's been trying to get all this credit, like if he's really doing something special, in the NBA. And it's like he's really showing his true colors right now, because he cares about he's also a capitalist too. He's about the money and not about the safety of the players. I mean, Kendrick Perkins came out and said, "Oh, I trust in Adam Silver, but you won't trust in Kyrie Irving, who you called a damn bird." So people can say what they want, that Kyrie is just doing this because he knows he's not playing, but at the very least, he's bringing more awareness in what happened. And the report was players came to him, because I still want to know who are the players that voted for the season to continue besides LeBron James. Because if it was really going to be fair, you would have heard all players. And the smaller players came to Kyrie and said that their voices were not being heard. I thought the NBA was about equality. So basically, you're still creating a division. Isn't that way some kind of form of racism, because you're not hearing everybody's opinions, you're just hearing your own? Jay says a NASCAR driver isn't in the way when it comes to him trying to win a championship. Kyrie is trying to block that. Kyrie isn't sincere when it comes to the real matters at hand. It looks that way. Yeah, I mean it's possible. I mean, yeah, you could look at it that way. Stephen A. said college players aren't equal and can't sit out. You know, which would make the NCAA hypocrites on their own right because those same college players that can't sit out in terms of equality. See, Stephen A. doesn't know what he's talking about. He doesn't know what he's talking about because those same college athletes make the NCAA money. This is why that the NCAA is afraid if those guys were to go to overseas or if they were supposed to go to another league that LeVar Ball was talking about. If they were to do that, trust me, the NCAA knows that they're in a lot of trouble because the talent that they see on TV with the deal that they get from their TV networks and these coaches that get paid a lot of money, that wouldn't bode well if these college athletes were to take real matters into their own hands if they really actually pay attention. Because then they're going to look at it and it's like, well, you're depriving these guys of their education. I said, but you also forget that they're not just educators getting education, they're athletes too. Don't you take advantage of their athletics? Because you have collegiate athletics. There's no collegiate athletics without these players because you can introduce the sport, but you need players to run your club, right? That's why I said it's a little bit of everything. Shout out to G Money in the building. He says Cavs have been garbage as of late, but they lost some key pieces like Jr. Corver, Clarkson, Hood, and Hill. Yeah. hmm Right. How can Stephen A. say that the NBA should return to New York? That's a good question, and it's pretty simple. That dude is a greedy SOB who sells out for the money. Simple. Adam Silver wants to be liked, and he cares about being the cool and popular commissioner. That's his problem. He cares about being accepted by LeBron and his crew. David Stern didn't give a damn. No. And that's the thing that I'm gonna say right now, man. I'm gonna say Kyrie's being real with this. I'm telling you, LeBron would get so much credit if he was actually in support. And if the media went against LeBron, then guess what? Then LeBron is being a real one because again, then it will tell you that no, the media can't tell me how I do my life, how I want to do things. And my thing is sometimes it's like I feel like LeBron is an intelligent brother, but it's just like what he's intelligent at is he makes decisions based on what other people's doing sometimes and not on his own unless it affects him. And my issue is that Kendrick Perkins, you criticize James Harden, but you played with him. You criticize Kyrie Irving, but you played with him. You don't say nothing about Russ, despite the fact that you played with him because he's not attacking LeBron James, right? James Harden is not a threat to LeBron James, but you criticize him. You criticize Steph Curry because you had an issue with him. You talk about brotherhood, but you're the same person that ratted out Paul Pierce about the situation he had with LeBron back when LeBron was a rookie in a preseason game on the network, just for the money. Listen, I don't always agree with Skip Bayless, but I'm gonna tell you right now, son. I'm telling you right now, ladies and gentlemen. Skip Bayless owned the crap out of Kendrick Perkins. He owned the crap out of Kendrick Perkins when he called him out. So I find out Kendrick Perkins was LeBron's AAU teammate back in eighth grade. But they don't want to talk about that Kendrick Perkins was on that same Boston Celtics team that knocked off LeBron not just in 2008, but in 2010 with KG, Ray Allen, Paul Pierce, and Rajon Rondo. Yet you criticize Paul Pierce on TV, which made Jalen Rose go, well, Paul, what was the beef on about, Perk? And then also, then you want to spill that Ray Allen wanted Rajon Rondo out of there for a CP3 trade. But these are supposed to be your brothers, right? And don't forget, Ray Allen went on and played with LeBron James and left the Boston Celtics. Y'all were the ones calling Ray Allen a traitor, but you call out Paul Pierce and you call out Ray Allen and Rajon Rondo at the same time. What that just told me was you expose yourself, Kendrick Perkins, on being on the payroll. You expose yourself. And this is why LeBron is always going to get hate from people like that because it's people like that are supposed to be quote unquote, oh my brother, my black brothers. You support Jaylen Brown, but you don't support Kyrie Irving. And the thing was, you decided to criticize Kyrie on a platform. On a platform. You've criticized him on Twitter. You've criticized him on the network. You've criticized him on Instagram. Do these people understand that are on TV like Ryan Hollins and Damon Jones and all these guys? Damon Jones has talked crap about Steph Curry. Maverick Carter has talked crap about Steph Curry. And look at Draymond Green. And he's supposed to be Steph's teammate, but he worked for Clutch Sports too. This is what I keep telling people, man. This is the systemic black on black crime. I tell you, I tell you, because Lewis, Adam Silver, and LeBron had everything in plan in the Lakers winning the chip. Oh, we know that until Kyrie spoiled that. It's the same thing when LeBron was going to get AD. Um, LeBron and Kyrie are both wrong. Both are not being sincere. You know, if you want to be really be objective, man. I want to get to Freddie G's comment right now, but before that, G Money says I want the season to return, but Kyrie has a point of people being protected from the situation going on. Fair point. Anthony L. David Stern was the major racist, though. You know why I want to get to that point, Freddie G, and I'm glad you brought that up. It was because of what Rasheed. Do you? I don't know if you remember this, Freddie G, but do you remember what Rasheed Wallace and Jermaine O'Neal criticized David Stern for being racist? Shout out to the Sports Critic. Appreciate you. Can't wait to see you tomorrow. And we'll be talking Orlando Magic basketball with the Sports Critic. Make sure to go to Sports Critic some love and make sure to go subscribe to his channel. If you guys can do that, ladies and gentlemen, make sure to go subscribe to the Sports Critics channel if you guys can. I truly appreciate that. Let's help the brother get more subscribers. And like I said, tomorrow at 9 p.m., we will be doing Orlando Magic basketball talk with the Sports Critic. He knows all about the Magic, and I can't wait to get his insights about his love for the Magic and the history and just knowing about all the players. Again, make sure to go subscribe to Sports Critics channel. Show him some love. Let me just go into the comment section once again, and then let me just read off. But Freddie G, you're absolutely right, though, with David Stern. He low-key was, because some of the NBA players during the mid-2000s called him out on it. Rasheed Wallace and Jermaine O'Neal were two of the people who did. Says I'm talking about the money. David Stern did what he thought was best for the organization, good or bad, and he wasn't the guy that could easily be influenced and manipulated by players. Trevor, Reese, and Davis, no, they're not coming back. Yeah, they're not coming back. LeBron and Kyrie can really start their own league. A lot of people don't know, but Zeke started his own league, the CBA, but he didn't get the sponsors and the funding. We probably know why that is. I was not a fan of David Stern at all, but what I'm saying is he couldn't be manipulated and controlled by the players the way Adam Silver is. If LeBron wasn't in one of the better positions to win a championship, then Kyrie wouldn't be saying anything more about Bron than the matter at hand. Which, which at hand, I could agree on Jay. Like if LeBron and Kyrie to me are both really about social change, they should really come together, put their differences aside, and start their own league. Because to be honest with you, I kind of have to agree with Jay, and I'm not saying that Kyrie is not wrong with addressing the social issues that are the social injustice going on in society. But the thing is also, if you look at what's going on, LeBron is desperately trying to win a championship so he can erase that 3-6 finals record. He's desperately trying to get that fourth. If it's at the expense of people getting sick, and if it's at the expense of people not wanting to move on, not trying to get at the expense of all these protests, it's just he's just going to be behind the scenes. But like I said, if they're trying to solve this issue, then LeBron and Kyrie are going to have to do a sit down. But LeBron's not going to do that because Kyrie already did a conference call and LeBron denied. And I'm pretty sure know why he did, because I'm pretty sure Kyrie's going to mention some things that LeBron is not going to want to hear. They're probably going to go into an argument back and forth. And like I said, we know what's going to happen. And like I said, we already know that there's certain people that LeBron does not like. We know that already. Adam Silver is all about the company line. Yep. David Stern kept a lot of money. Hey, man, too much time, man. But it's, yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. David Stern was a big time racist. That's why he was trying to destroy Isaiah Thomas at the Pistons legendary. Isaiah changed the game off the court and on the court, and Stern hated that. Absolutely. The thing is, if you look at Jordan, he was the opposite of what Isaiah Thomas was doing. And that's what David Stern didn't like. And that's why, to me, that's why some people don't like MJ for that, especially the ones that didn't like to see him on top, if I'm being really honest. Adam Silver cares more about money than people. Yeah, pretty much, pretty much. So like I said, like I'm a huge basketball fanatic, and I would love for the season to come back. But it's like I just don't want to do that at the expense of people's lives in terms of their health. And again, with the social justice going on, I want listen equal opportunity for everybody. I want listen, man. It's all about treating each other fairly. Also, here's another problem that I'm having with this Genie Bus thing. Let me just check in the comments before I address that. Yeah, Adam Silver has no spine. I feel you. Yeah, that's true. That's true. They both have their strengths and weaknesses. I wasn't a fan of either commissioner, but at least when it came to Stern, nobody could punk him. Silver doesn't even have the guts to discipline the Lakers for having secret workouts, which is what JJ Redick actually snitched out. Um, Pistons were going in a direction that Stern didn't want the NBA to repeat. If Isaiah didn't say what he did about Magic, and things may have been different for him in the Pistons, Stern meddled too much. I respect Jalen Rose as an analyst. He knows his stuff about the NBA. The Lakers should not be having secret workouts during a pandemic, man. If other teams did it, they would get reprimanded. But when it comes to LeBron, he's allowed to get away with it. Stern was worse than Silver may ever be. Silver is wrong with the continuing the L for one player. I mean, they both have strengths and weaknesses. I'm with Winetta on that one. Big time fast, Karan. Jalen Rose has awesome arguments and brings a lot of unbiased information. Eh, I partly disagree with that. There's moments where he does, and there's moments where he doesn't. It depends on what the topic is. It really depends on what the topic is, honestly. If we're really being honest, appreciate that. No doubt, sports critic, you deserve the shout out. Don't blame the Pistons for what they was doing. Every team in the 80s, man, was playing like the Pistons, especially the Boston Celtics. Timmy G says Adam Silvers has no plan after LeBron, so he's gonna allow LeBron to run the league after he retires. And trust me, it's gonna rub the other owners the wrong way, and they'll all leave and pull their money. Hmm. If that were to be the case, Timmy G's spot, do you think that'd be the opportunity for LeBron to run his own league? If the owners were to pull out, do you think that the players now, with LeBron being the face, would want to run their own league if the owners were to pull out? If Adam Silver lets LeBron run the league, because then if that was the case, I would have to start thinking about baseball. I would have to start thinking about the NFL. I would really have to start thinking about that. I would really have to start thinking about that. Um, awesome, awesome, no doubt, no doubt. Nah, man, I don't remember that. Okay. Well, if you so Freddie, if you go back, if you look up I want you to type in Rasheed Wallace, you could type in the article or Jermaine O'Neal. There was an interview on the Blank PN network, right? And they talked about it. They talked about both Jermaine O'Neal and Rasheed. Jermaine O'Neal actually had the sit down interview and he addressed that. So I want you to type it in on YouTube and check out that interview. You'll hear some interesting stuff, man. Yeah, he stereotyped Allen Iverson because of how much he was changing the culture of the NBA when it came to the image, when it came to the hip hop image. That's why it all changed with the whole suit. Perk was on Area 21 with KG, Paul Pierce, and the crew talking about the brotherhood, and then look what he did. Big Perk ain't a real one. Nope, nope. And that's why I said I said Kevin Garnett better watch out because he's gonna be next. Kevin Garnett better watch out. Any type of beans that Perk has, he's gonna spill it on the network. So he better be careful, son. That's all I'm saying. He better be careful. I don't think Isaiah said those things about Magic at all. Isaiah was the guy that told Stern to have Magic in the '92 All Star game, knowing that he had it. No one wanted to play with Magic. I don't think so, man. I don't think so. What Isaiah and the Pistons said about Magic and Larry were wrong, though, especially Magic. David Stern threw Muhammad Abdul Rauf and Craig Hodges out of the league. Oh yeah, that's how Muhammad Abdul Rauf is in the Big Three with Ice Cube. But you know what's so funny about that too? That the Big Three's got affiliations with the NBA. I honestly thought that that was its own league, but it's affiliated with the NBA. So then you got to ask yourself, is the Big Three really its own league? If they're affiliated with the NBA, then that just tells me that they're not really their own league. Anthony Bingo made a whole dress code because AI was cultural icon, tattoos, braids, and he had a hip hop look. David Stern was a major racist. Oh, absolutely. If you look at the way that Michael Jordan dressed, that's how David Stern wanted the league to look like. Not what Allen Iverson brought to the game. It's so crazy that there's still even racism, man, within organizations and sports. People are silent on a lot of social justice issues that are happening in society. Systemic black on black crimes happen not only in sports, not only in the media, but also in households. When I hear stories of, what black families are doing to one another, that's sick, man. That's sick. And I really wish that these black communities would try to help each other and uplift, because it's like they're not realizing that the government is really trying to divide you. And then you also don't help when you create that division yourselves. When you do that, the government is winning. You're not. Adam Silver's problem is that he's too gullible when it comes. Yeah, no, yeah. Shout out to Tyree in the building. Anthony, I could give you that, man. Adam is more about making the game of basketball better, in my opinion. Adam is kind of gullible and tries to make crazy experiments to improve the league, but they're not. That's my issue, man. He keeps trying to change everything. He keeps trying to change everything. I mean, you've had guys like Allen Iverson who, despite being blackballed out of the league and how David Stern viewed him, he's always been in support of the game of basketball and the players that currently play. And Allen Iverson, you always heard it out of his mouth, and he's been consistent with this, guys. He's always said that the game is getting better, that the game is evolving. You always heard that from Allen Iverson. I mean, people can say what they want about Allen Iverson and his career and the type of issues he was with on and off the court. But one thing that Allen Iverson has always been consistent on, ladies and gentlemen, he has always said that the NBA game is getting better. The NBA game is evolving. I love watching the players play. He's always said that. And take a look at Larry Bird, for example. He continues to say to this day, he gives Klay Thompson his respect, and he keeps saying, I really wish that he could play in this era. And he's talking about from a physical standpoint. His body would be a lot more fresher. It'd be a lot more looser. He would not be dealing with physical aches and bruises. He wouldn't have to deal with the physicality as much. Jalen Rose follows an okay comment by a flat out lie. That exactly. Thank you, Jay. Couldn't have said that better myself. That's Jalen Rose. He'll come at you with a comment. It's all good. Oh, Jalen Rose speaking facts. Then he'll come and then comes down with his own agenda and be like, what is Jalen Rose talking about? I mean, with the way that Jalen spray paints his hair, with the way that his hairline be looking, you be thinking he's like one of those Bitmoji, Animoji, emoji characters. Shout out to Tyree in the building. He says, what's up? Appreciate you, man. What's good? What's good? Okay. Ron says, from the AD situation to the secret workouts, it's sort of obvious that the NBA is doing everything they can to set the table. And like, that's what, and that's why I'm not okay with, man. And Winetta says, Zeke is a low-key hater and politician, and I like and respect Zeke's game and legendary status. I said, yo, when it comes to Isaiah's game, man, I told you, most impactful little man in NBA history. I'm always gonna say that. Hell, even his bitter rival to this day, MJ, has called him the second greatest point guard in NBA history. That just tells you that while MJ may not like him, while Isaiah Thomas may act nice and take the nice way right, even though he hates Jordan with a passion and he won't admit it, Jordan called him the second greatest point guard behind Magic. That's how much Jordan respects Isaiah Thomas. Adam is very predictable and gullible. I wonder how long did Stern know that Sterling was a racist? I'm pretty sure he knew for a long time, because if he's doing what he did to Allen Iverson and Donald Sterling was treating his players like that, just think about it. That's a very good question, Freddie G. Tyree says we all have an element of racist. We just have to find ways to get better despite it. Well, in a way, you could kind of say that, kind of. But Freddie G, I agree with him when he says that, man. The oppressed can't be racist. Anthony says Stephen A. Smith is no different than Stern because he disrespected Iverson too for sharing his personal business in the paper when he worked as a beat writer for the Philadelphia Inquirer. Yeah. And you know what gets me mad about Stephen A? Then when AI comes on the show, yeah, that's my brother Allen Iverson. And I remember when they asked him the question, who would you have taken the last shot with the game on the line, man? If oh no, if you wanted to win a series, he's like, if I wanted to win one game, I'll take Allen Iverson. Um, Stephen A. Smith, I thought the point was try to win the series. You see what I'm saying about this bug dancing clown? He's a fanboy, man. I'm not saying that Stephen A cannot make good points at times. He can. But again, he wants all the credit to act like he is the most credible source. Adrian Wojnarowski got you beat, my friend. And that's what you're mad about. So you sold your soul and you talking about that you got sources just because you knocked some things out of the park a couple of times with Kevin Durant going to Golden State and the fact that Kevin Durant might have left and possibly LeBron was going to go to LA and all this kind of stuff like that. I mean, heck, Joy Taylor from a mile away said LeBron was going to the Lakers. She'd said that before Stephen A did. I got the receipts. I got the receipts about that. That Stephen A is nothing but a clown, man. Nothing but a clown. Oh no, Jay. Oh no, we're talking about his disdain for MJ and as successful as Zeke has been. Trust me, there's still a lot of bad blood between those two, even though they want to both deny it. Well, MJ doesn't really deny it. Isaiah Thomas does, or at least he tries to. Is there any chance Adam Silver bans James Dolan as he did to Donald Sterling? The only way that that's going to happen, Koram, is if he actually pays attention to that. But he's not paying attention to that. He's worried about trying to get the season started. And if you guys notice, first it was the pandemic. Then the after the pandemic it became the protest. Now low key, the protests are starting to die down. It's going back to the pandemic again, and then it's start going back to the NBA season. And I said, LeBron James, if you're gonna support a NASCAR driver, and I'm pretty sure you don't follow NASCAR, dude, you can support the people that are doing out here, your fellow brothers in the league that are trying to push for change. How much credit will LeBron get? He will get a lot of credit. But what does he only get credit for? Yeah, he addresses social issues and all that, but it's like he's only getting them from speaking on Twitter. How can you be mad at the oppressed for retaliation? I mean, again, Freddie brings up a good point. I like Stephen A, man, but sometimes he can be hard-headed and simple-minded when he makes his arguments. And I'm not saying he doesn't know basketball, man, but listen, he's more about storyline most of the time than really making good points. I lost respect for Stephen A. When I listen to him talk, man, I just can't be like. Sometimes you can't look at him as a credible source. Well, I'm gonna say this, man. When you talk about Tyree, there really is no solution to stop racism. I'm gonna be very honest about that. I feel like it's an improvement we can make, but I don't think it's something that we're gonna be able to stop. To be honest, that's gonna take a lot of work, and not everybody's gonna be down with the cause. Isaiah on the floor was something we may never see again. Yeah, Isaiah off the floor. Really think so? But forget about this whole thing with the playoffs. I get all that, G Money, but my thing is that when I look at Dolan, he just cares about his money. And I'm talking about there's something serious going on in society, and he doesn't even care about that. He was honest about it, but he doesn't even care about that. And he's a billionaire who has got the resources. Why is it that the players are coming more together than the owners? I remember when this pandemic first started, all I heard were players donating. The owners came in like about a couple of weeks after. And I'm saying to myself, man, y'all really that affected by your pockets? When I see you spend freaking $10,000 on freaking dinner like it's chump change, but it's like now you don't want to spend money for the cause? Come on, dog. Yeah, I'm not even really focused on that right now. It's true. You really can't stop, and that's why I said I agree with you, Freddie G, because you really can't stop individuals from performing racist acts, because that's just going to be within their nature to do that. It's again, what actions are going to be taken when it happens. I mean, we're going to think different. How is Zeke? How is Zeke hating on Jordan when Zeke beat him in three? Well, listen, man, I love Zeke. Pretty simple, Jay. Here's the reason. The reason being is because Isaiah doesn't get the credit for that. He doesn't get the credit for that. That's number one. Despite the fact that those things are true, but number two, look at it this way too. What did Jordan win in Chicago? Six championships. Also, if you remember Bobby Knight, Isaiah Thomas played for him in Indiana. And what did he say about Jordan in the Olympics in '84? He said Jordan was the best that he had ever seen. Also, some of his family members, one of his nephews wore a Jordan jersey. The thing is, these kind of things don't get talked about. Isaiah Thomas shouldn't need to hate because he's owned Jordan in the past and he's won two championships. But where's Isaiah Thomas from? Chicago. Now he loves Detroit, but I'm telling you, there's no need for him to. But if you really pay attention, trust me. Yeah, you got to word that one better, Tyree. I don't know what you mean by that, man. Hold on. What is it, bro? I mean, it's a fact, man. It's funny because with the money that the players are getting paid, especially the star athletes, and then when you look at all of the owners in the NBA, all of the owners in the NFL, you mean to tell me that you guys really can't stop world hunger? You mean to tell me that you guys can't really really start to put that money for good use to try to really improve society? Nah. I understand everybody's got to do things, to make sure that they're in proper position too, man. Which explains why are some of these people out here for these Black Lives Matter movement when they're not out here for that? And obviously this was originally about Jeanie Buss. Oh wow, congratulations, Tyree, man. Yo, congratulations, man. I'm happy for you. Awesome. I send my blessings to you, man. I didn't even know you was in the hospital. That's crazy. But congratulations, Tyree, man. Salute to you, peace, man. And wow, such a blessing, man. Getting back to the topic, what do you think the outcome will be with everything that's going on? Do you think all of this is exposing LeBron and his ulterior moves for wanting the NBA to resume? To be honest, I don't think it's going to expose anything because whatever the media is going to do, they're really gonna hide it. The thing is, somebody who really see what's going on, but they're not gonna do that. It's crazy how all of us in the chat are coming with more solutions right now than the people that have resources. That's crazy, right? We have more solutions in the chat than the people who have the resources. It shows you that we're much more deeper thinkers, people here in the chat, than the people who have the resources. because their plan has nothing to do with what really should be focused on. But unfortunately, this is only going to be about how LeBron is getting credit for the social issues that he's addressing, and this is about starting the season. Like I said, we just had a pandemic. We got cases going up in Florida, but it's like you got the people in the media. Oh, let's move this to New York. When I look at this letter about Jeanie Buss, to me, she's kind of showing me that she is a snake, man. I hate to say it, but I feel like she is low key a snake. I'm not saying that hateful letters cannot come, and they've happened. And I'm not saying that Jay's not right. It's true. But if you look at the timing of everything, especially with what happened with Magic Johnson in that situation, I'm just like, I don't know, man. Something doesn't smell right. Something is just very fishy. I smell a red, mainly. Like I said, I just smell a freaking $1 million rat on this. They did kill him for that too. Whether you're being aggressive or you're being passive, it's crazy. Passive aggressive didn't hasn't resulted in any change. Passive aggressive actions have not resulted in change. So that's what I said to the end. If the NBA players are listening to this right now, if you guys have the funding, if you guys are about brotherhood, as I've heard Karan Butler talk about, as LeBron is talking about, as that idiotic fool Kendrick Perkins is talking about, then you guys should really come together, put your differences aside, start your own league. Start your own league. Really, really be serious about that. What do you think that's going to force the owners to do if you guys were to start your own league? If you're really about change, I just don't want to see these constant protests going nowhere. These protests have got to start to lead something because we've been protesting for so long, but nothing's really happening. Love to you, Tyree. Yeah, they do know what this is. Okay, like I said, man, shout out to Tyree. He's about to be a father, man. Salute to you, Tyree. Congratulations, my man. I don't trust exactly, man. I don't listen, man. I don't trust Jeanie Buss at all. I don't trust her. Juanetta, you're speaking big facts, man. There's just something about Jeanie Buss I don't trust because it's what the thing is. What makes it so ironic and what makes it again so hypocritical of Jeanie Buss is what she said. There's been other letters that she's received, but she's never read them or she's brought them out to social media because she ignored it. She happened to not ignore this one because not only did Kobe's name have to be on it, but it was because of what that anonymous person called her after 60 years of him being a fan. It almost makes it seem like when she redacted his last name, it almost made it seem like if she knew who that person was. Because if she didn't know this random fan, if she didn't know, see, that's what makes me think. Because if she didn't know this random fan, why would she redact his last name if she doesn't know who this person is? That's what's not clicking. If I go back to that letter, it says, where it says, go the hell and join blank, where she erases it, where there's a comma. But then even next to his last name, it was erased. That tells me something. Why would she why would she redact that last name next to the word Joe? That's what I'm not understanding. Freddie says I got to read that letter and get more educated on it. I read the caption of the article, but I haven't drove into it yet. Yeah, educate yourself, man. And the thing is, they know. I agree with you, Winetta, and I agree with you, Anthony L. They know what the solution is. As a matter of fact, they knew when this thing was going on. They just don't want to solve the problem. Anthony, I think the NBA should wrap it up, man. Bron got to realize that this is bigger than basketball right now, man. Health and activism. Right. This may have killed MLK for, but I think he did die. He didn't die in vain, and with the goal he fought for, with the principles he upheld, and that helps nobody but themselves. Right. A lesson. Right. Is fear is useless. What it takes is trust. Jay says, "I got mine. Get your attitudes needs to come to an end, man. Or quit BSing, man. People with these BS tweets. That's all about. That's all about saying about Braun. If this was not an issue, man, even though we were criticizing him, they'll be like, yo, being selfish and all, but it's like it's whatever. It's fine. But the problem is what I'm saying, man. It's like, is LeBron seeing that there's black on black crimes happening? And I've never heard LeBron talk about that, but he wants to say that he's, you know, socially active and that he's this, Muhammad Ali character. But it's like Muhammad Ali has always said to himself that he's black. He's always said that. Yo, G Money, man, you got to catch up, bro. We've been saying this entire stream. We've been saying this entire pandemic, bro. We've been saying that the entire pandemic. This is health, not about basketball. We've been saying this the entire pandemic, bro. Hey, shout out to Layla, man. Appreciate you being here. Hope everything's good with you, girl. Glad you made it. Anthony L says, man, LeBron thinks that he could kill two birds with one stone by playing and speaking out. But in this situation, that's not going to cut it. He has to pick a side. You either hot or cold. Can't be lukewarm. Here's the thing, man. I'm telling you right now. I know the media. See, and then also you got to also look at Stephen A. too. He doesn't agree with what Kyrie and Dwight Howard are saying. Okay. Shout out to Layla mentioning the LSM Mod Squad, but it's true. LeBron thinks that he could kill two birds with one stone. He can't do that because Drake sang that song. By the way, fire track by Drake anyway. Um, but like I said, man, you gotta pick a side. You gotta pick a side, bro. You gotta pick a side. You're either gonna stand and you're gonna fight with your NBA brothers, as you say that you are, that they're your brothers. You got two players on your own team that are not willing to play because they want to fix these issues first, or you are gonna say, I'm gonna play no matter what anybody says. So to be honest with you, believe it or not, man, the ball is in your court. And like I said, if LeBron really wants to look good, he stand with the players. If he really wants to look good, he stands with the players. I just don't think he's gonna do that. And like I said, I really want all the players to be healthy. I mean, look, you got players. Look, Trevor Reese is black, and you don't, and you see him. He said, "Hell no." He said, "No, I'm not gonna play." Easy. So that's what I'm just saying, guys. I mean, and Anthony L. Speaking, speaking a big point. And that's what's very sad, man. And again, shout out to Anthony L. For coming on and being a guest on the show. Like, and like I said, for people out there who are gonna think that this is about hate, this ain't about hate at all. I'm just addressing something, and it's about the fact that DeMar DeRozan even said it himself when he interviewed Taylor Rooks. He said this is an opportunity that you can't pass up. It's an opportunity that you cannot pass up. Because again, we're gonna see what these NBA players and these NFL players all about. Because are they really trying to push for social change, or are they doing this because it's just the right thing to do. And then when we get back to playing football and then we get back to playing basketball, we're kind of back in square one. The same things keep happening. People are just saying that sports brings a way to bringing people together. Well, if it brings people together, then why do we keep having all this racism keep happening? Especially, you also got to think about the fans, because if sports is a way to people to bring together, why are fans continuing to be derogatory toward players? And then players are constantly getting into scuffles with fans. Next thing you know, they're on social media. Next thing you know, the media is covering what this player said to this fan and this and this and this, and then they end up choosing sides back and forth, and then it makes the player look bad. So the reason that players, the ones that show amazing restraint, is because they know whatever they do, the media is going to nitpick, no matter what, you know. And that's what makes it sad, ladies and gentlemen. That's what makes it sad. And let me just, like I said, what's good, Layla? Appreciate you coming through, man. And it's kind of like the Jeanie Bus letter has some similarities with racial slurs allegedly being painted on LeBron's house, which is why I mentioned it earlier in the video when I was talking with Anthony. I said, why is it that it's been over 3 years and we still don't know who spray painted his house with the N word in his Brentwood house? Because they showed on TV that LeBron was showing his $52 million home in Brentwood, and I said, damn, $52 million. That sounds like LeBron's probably got the latest stuff around that house when you talk about a mansion, but it was spray painted, and we still haven't found out about that. Just too weird. Yep. But like I said, man, that's why I said that LeBron is going to continue to be the social forefront, because again, it's not affecting his pockets. As long as Nike supports him, it's all good, man. But you could also make the same for Kyrie, even though he's not making the money that well, I mean, he just signed a big contract. He just signed a big contract with Brooklyn, but he's also a Nike asset too, which is why they kind of not getting on him. That's why that bike ride with AD and JR was a media op. It wasn't coming from something real. Yeah, at this point, man, if Bron is really serious, stand with Kyrie. If not, get your ass out of the way, Bron. People are trying to handle business, and that's what I'm saying, Freddie Gee. Guys like you who are working real hard every single day, man, just to try to make a living for your family. You know, Layla with what she does, Anthony L with what he does, Juanetta Thomas with what she does, Jay Jefferson with what he does, Raduni with what he does. Whatever everybody's doing, everybody's trying to make ends meet. Ron Cowan, you know, what everybody's doing out here. Everybody is all basically, again, they understand what this is really about and what should really happen. But guess what? The NBA players that play sport for a living and don't have a real job have an opportunity to really make change and really have their voices heard. And that goes for NFL players when they should have been doing this from a long time ago, because sports have been getting away with racism for such a long time. Now, even if this protest, a lot of people are just doing it for attention purposes. The NBA players, you guys have the platform. This is your opportunity to use attention and really start to spread awareness, man. And Freddie speaking big facts, man. LeBron James, you really want to get the credit in this situation? Stand with Kyrie. Kyrie, if you're really not about preventing LeBron from winning the championship, put your differences aside, stand together, and really start your own league and stick it to the white owners in the NBA. Because other than MJ, what other black owners you see in the NBA? Because if the NBA wasn't really racist, there would be more black head coaches and there would be more general managers in the front office and there'd be more owners in the NBA if they weren't racist. There's not a single black owner in the NFL. There are very few head coaches in the NFL that are black themselves. And that's all my issue. It's not about, oh, I'm being a hater. It's about the motive, man. It's about the motive. You can't, and that's what I'm saying with Brian, man. If you're gonna really want to call yourself an activist, if you really want to say that you're Muhammad Ali, now's the time to step up. Not showing support to a NASCAR driver for a noose in a garage, but it's like your brothers are out here protesting. Russell Westbrook, DeMar DeRozan, Steph Curry, Klay Thompson, Jaylen Brown, Dwight Howard, Avery Bradley, Malcolm Brogdon. All these dudes have come out and shown support. LeBron, you're the face of the league. You want to call yourself the off the court GOAT? This is the opportunity right now. This is the opportunity, man. And I'm telling you, the longer that this happens, think about this. Think about this, guys. The longer that this pandemic happens, the longer that these protests happen, the longer that sports is trying to come back, all of these issues are overlapping one another. All of these issues. All of these issues are overlapping one another, which tells you these guys know what the idea is. They're just pretending like one issue is bigger than the other. And that once we focus on one big issue, we could ignore the other issues. And the media should be ashamed of themselves too, because they're part of the problem. You got black brothers selling out for the damn money, talking about social issues, and then we need change in this. I said, that's easy for you guys to say. You guys are making dollars. I said, you guys could be funding that money too to help for the cause. But are you guys coming out there? No. Which is why I keep getting on Shannon Sharp. When has Shannon Sharp really ever done anything for the black community like that when you really think about it? I can't really think of one thing. Shout out to Bronco Fanatic. What has Shannon Sharp really done? But he's criticizing other people? And this is why I continue to say, ladies and gentlemen, if you have not done anything to help your cause, you cannot be criticizing other people if you're no better. And I'm gonna say this: if I'm not in the position to be able to support, I'm gonna be honest. I'm gonna say that I can't do that, even though if I want to. If I can help in any way, shape, or form, I'll do that. But I'm gonna shoot it straight with you. That's coming out of my mouth. I'm not gonna sit here and say, oh yeah, I'm a supporter of the cause and all that, and then I don't do jack squat, because that makes me a hypocrite. And I'm sorry. Let me just look in the comments before I close out the show. This has been a really good stream. Everybody's brought in some heat. Everybody's making great points. Freddie G's been on fire, man. Anthony L, you've been fire from the get-go. I mean, Wanetta, Layla, Tomoko, even though Tomoko, obviously she always comes with the random stuff, but it's all good. It's all cool. LeBron Teflon Don, and that's what it is, man. That's what it is, and that's my issue. Yeah, man. Oh, if he can do that, because this is what I told y'all, ladies and gentlemen. Remember what Colin Cowherd said when I released that video? He said that when we remember this entire year, it's not about the passing of Kobe, it's not about the COVID, it's not about it's not about the protest. It's about LeBron winning the NBA title. That should be the lasting image, and that's what LeBron wants. Because what they're gonna say is that LeBron has has made has made things at peace, and he's made things for the better, and that things are gonna be back to normal once he wins an NBA championship. Are you kidding me? No team, no player or team when they won an NBA championship has things ever been normal. I mean, how the media be any more stupid? Really? No player, not MJ, not Kobe, not any NFL players, not baseball players, nobody. That when they've won a championship, you're telling me that any social change was really influenced because we're still dealing with it in 2020. Freddie Gee, speaking facts once again, man. Speaking facts once again. Oh yeah, that's absolutely, man. Well, actually, no, we can't say totally exposed, Layla. You know why I say that is because again, the ones that are brainwashed, once if they start to wake up, then we could say totally, and that's gonna have to be from the media themselves. But we can't say total exposure because there's still people who will still fall for this, so we can't say that. Like I said, shout out to Bronco Fanatic. He always does, man. Um, all right, I'm about to close the stream, but you guys have been great. Like I said, money on the line. Trust me, he'll turn the other way, man. Appreciate you, Winetta. The issue is that the media is Stephen A has. You know what's funny? Even Shannon Sharp didn't belittle Kyrie, which I was kind of expecting, but he didn't even do it. So I was a little bit surprised on that. But salute to Shannon Sharp on that. He didn't do it. And but Kendrick Perkins, what a clown! What a clown! You know what's so crazy? LeBron got you on the chief for 10 G's, yet you don't care as long as you getting paid, right? Shaking my head. It's sad, man. It's really sad. I'm gonna look at the chat real quick and then I'm gonna end it with a message. Appreciate that one, Nat. Appreciate that. Whatever's done in the dark will eventually come to light. Time is gonna tell who's really for us and who's really against us. I agree, Anthony L. Big facts. The issue in America is that we're facing is not going away anytime soon. It's been with us for a long time and it's just not gonna go away. Playing in super teams and still losing six way more than he's won, man. But that's the GOAT. But you know what? At this point, I don't even really care about the 3 and 6 at this point. It's just the fact that LeBron is really trying to use this case against Michael Jordan, but then it's like he'll come out and it's like you just keep tweeting and tweeting and tweeting and tweeting. I'm gonna end it with this message, folks. Yeah, man. Appreciate that, Freddie G, man. Shout out to Freddie G, man. You came in with crazy heat, man. You was definitely cooking in your bag today, man. Oh no, this is my final point, and I'm glad you touched upon that, Jay. If LeBron wins a championship this year, you think that his tweet is going to be about social justice, or is it going to be about him being one step closer to Michael Jordan? Because that's what the media is just going to focus on. We're not going to focus on the pandemic. We're not going to remember COVID-19 for 2020. We're not going to remember about Kobe's death. We're not going to remember about the protests that have been happening from the looting with Black Lives Matter. You notice how all of these are world events. What's the final say going to be? The final say going to be about what I talked about with Colin Cowherd when I released the video a couple of months back. It's about LeBron winning the championship and him being the talk of 2020. Because best believe that the networks are going to put that as the number one forefront with everything that's going on. And I'm gonna say this right now to you, LeBron James. You and Kyrie Irving have been the focus of the media drama. You guys could put a stop to it by actually coming together as brothers. And I'm not talking about you guys could disagree on whatever. You guys don't have to show a light for each other. But if your other NBA brothers are coming together and pushing for social change, you two should be at the forefront since you guys have been the one that has been more so socially woke than anybody. This is the opportunity right now. Come together as brothers, address these issues, and if you're really serious about this, start your own league. Start your own league. Because a lot of players have been saying this for years about how they've been racially oppressed in the sport that they play. But you both are part of the Nike. You're part of the Nike. You're Nike athletes. You're Nike assets. What's that song by John Cena? The time is now. Your time is up. My time is now. You can't see me. My time is now. It's the franchise, but I'm shining now. Now you can't see me. My time is now. Now. LeBron and Kyrie, your time is now. And I'm telling y'all now, if y'all don't address this issue, if y'all don't use y'all resources and really invest in something really intelligently and what you should invest, this problem is going to continue to drag. And like Anthony L has been saying, what Layla's been saying, what Jay has been saying, history is going to repeat itself and history is going to show your true colors. And I'm not just talking about LeBron, I'm talking about Kyrie too. So if you guys are really down for the cause, y'all should be sticking it to the media. Y'all should be sticking it to the owners and turn that gullible Adam Silver into a woke person to really understand that we really want equality. Let's push for this change. Let's push for it because you can do it. It just depends if you guys are really going to do it. That's all it is. So again, this is all about agendas, man. Is this about social change or is this about capitalism? Because you do also remember that you win a championship, that's money for your franchise too. Capitalism. And then I'm going to end it with Jeanie Buss. And Winetta says she'll take Fred Hampton over Malcolm X, but she can take both. She said Layla said it's silver anorexic. To Jeanie Buss, I don't know what your intentions were with this letter. I don't know. And like I said, in one part it could be true, one part it could be false. And again, salute to everybody in the chat. But I'm gonna end it with this. Jeanie Buss, you had the opportunity to address quite a few issues that have been going on. You chose not to do that. And Freddie Gee says a big point right here. Bruh, with all that guarantee money, I would have been quit and built with my people. That's what I've been telling y'all from the beginning, man. That's what y'all got to do. Build with your own people and see who's going to follow your movement. The thing is, this country does not have a true leader. A lot of these social media activists, they're not true leaders. They're social media activists. In terms, they're keyboard warriors. Everything they do is with Twitter fingers, man. They ain't no trigger. It's all Twitter. So, Jeanie Buss, I don't know what your intentions were. I don't like the timing that you released the letter. And I don't like the fact that I don't trust you. I don't trust you, Jeanie Buss. Especially because I tell you that LeBron has impeccable timing when it comes to tweets. He knows when to tweet and when not to tweet. And the minute that a racist letter came out, because she is the owner of the organization, LeBron came in full of support. You got a NASCAR driver who had a noose in his garage, allegedly. LeBron comes and supports him. But you got brothers out here, Jeanie Buss. If you're so down for the cause and you're talking about how powerful that a lot of these black athletes and activists are, but yet I don't see you gathering the other owners in the league and helping fight for this change when you guys have got the freaking resource and funding. That makes you a hypocrite. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. This is the perfect time right now. We have no true leader to really push for change. We can say what we want, man. So I'm gonna say this again, Jeanie Buss. From this point forward, I better hope that from that letter that you quote unquote received, especially when you erase that last name, you're talking about your white friends. I hope those white friends have money, and I hope that you, if you're listening, get the other owners in the league to be part of this cause instead of being about your pockets. Because I feel like you took this opportunity to make this about you. And I'm going to say this again. I'm not saying that it's okay for you to get disrespected like that, but I felt like you took this to make this about you because it almost made it seem like, for some reason, that you tried to turn this into a white versus black because this what kind of sounds like it made it to me. And it's like, this goes beyond that. This is a human race issue. And don't want to hear about LeBron's heart and social causes ever again. I'm sorry, Layla. The problem is it's going to be, you have to understand something. You should know by now. This is the media we're talking about, and this is LeBron James. You know that this is going to be always talked about. You know that network that talks about him all the time. You know the other network that talks. So this isn't going to go on no matter how much you want to hear it. The key thing is, in order to not hear it, you just got to make sure that whatever story pops up, you just don't watch it. My message to Jeanie, don't let your arrogance ruin everything your father worked hard for to make the Lakers what it is as a first class organization. I feel like for me that Jeanie Buss to me is kind of making this all about her, which is what I'm not okay with. I feel like she kind of really chose her words in this situation. That's the problem that I'm having right here. Right, Raduni. I don't mean to be mean, but he has some health issues. Right, okay. And last thing, Jay says the people that would lead are either gone, too old, or with beside MLK too. Change won't happen if there's a lack of committed leaders, which I agree. Stephen A. Yeah, man. All these black brothers in the media should be ashamed of themselves because they're tearing down their own blacks just to put boost up another black that's already rich in millions in LeBron James. Like he doesn't need any more pampering. But this is why I also said, man, LeBron loves this stuff. And that's because again, he's got the corporate sponsors to back him up. That's the key. But anyway, ladies and gentlemen, man, this has been a great video. Yeah, I was still a Live Cheese fan, but I'm actually closing out the stream. Again, shout out to everybody in the chat. I appreciate you guys for coming through. Again, you guys already know about the PayPal, but you guys don't have to donate. Again, this is another one. And shout out to Anthony L. I want to thank you for being a special guest on the show. Appreciate you coming through, man. So from the Lewis Sports Network, man, to everybody out there, man, once again, this was great. Appreciate all of you guys. Hit the like, hit the subscribe. Make sure you're sharing this on your social media. This was a great stream. And again, shout out to Anthony L for being a guest. And I'm glad that he decided to let me know about this topic. And I thought, oh wow, he said it's the best stream ever. I appreciate you, Anthony L. And listen, man, thank you for being a guest, man. And I would love to do more of these streams where I invite people for them to speak their mind. Layla, I got to get you on one of these days, man, so you can speak your mind out too. But like I said, man, again, thank you to Anthony L. Once again, man, check out his podcast, man. Real articulate brother. This guy knows his stuff. Whether you agree or disagree, again, he's always going to back up his points. And whether we agree or disagree, man, I appreciate you guys. So again, and shout out to Chiefs fan as well, man. I appreciate you being here as well. So until next time, ladies and gentlemen, you already know the deal. This is the Lewis Sports Network, always telling you with my three models, the three L's in life that we must go by, which society doesn't. But I know you guys will, man. Share this, like, subscribe, share on your social media. Bless up, live, laugh, love. Thank y'all for being part of this live stream. Till next time. Appreciate you guys. Have a wonderful night. We're back in with another one. Appreciate it. Take care.